And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the StarCraft Evolution League number 2. I'm of course your VIP, and with me I'm joined by these amazing players, the people in the chat, and this interesting mod as well. Welcome to an event that is not StarCraft 2. Instead, welcome to StarCraft Evolution, an amalgamation, a combination, in a way, of Brood War and StarCraft 2. Here we go. Of course, we've been covering this event over the past couple of weeks. I mean, previously we had the HSL, now we have here the SEL instead. We have our first series of the night, exclamation mark B in the chat. If you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves, the bracket is big, the bracket is stacked, many of familiar faces, and some others as well. Interesting, as we are jumping into our fresh best of 3 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Sylphid, we have the Polish Zerg player, the purple Zerg. It is Snokstar. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the yellow Terran player. It is Nyariko. Yeah? There we go. But here we go. Of course, this is a 3-player spawn, 3-player map. You can actually load in and spawn in towards the north instead, or towards either side. Bit of a triangular spawn location, and we'll see how Snokstar can piece together what's going on. Overlord is being sent towards the north, and Snokstar is playing SC2 Zerg. Meanwhile, our Terran player here is rolling the Brood War Terran race instead. For those that are curious about the mod, about how this works, is that the Brood War races have been introduced, have been incorporated, have been modded over in SE2, and they have been, of course, adjusted and balanced in their own way. They're not carbon copies of the Brood War races, but they are similar enough, and they are being updated, adjusted over time. Likewise, these are some of the older Brood War maps as well that have also been kind of adapted here to the SE2 engine, and we'll see how this all turns out. It's been a lot of fun, honestly. It's been a lot of fun kind of seeing the SE2 races up against the Brood War races. Has led to a lot of very entertaining matches, especially with these wild maps. I say wild maps, just maps with features that have been since kind of filtered out over time. Overlord Scout comes in, likewise Overlord on the right hand side, and with this, Snokstar will confirm the Terran is not here. The Terran has not spawned in towards the north. There is no opponent, at least not in this location, so now Snokstar is aware he's towards the bottom right instead. Now we do have a setup here. Oh my god, that's a lot of Raxes. No CC, no command center. Niar is going for a 1 base all in. That is going to be 4 Raxes in total, massing up Marines, and it's going to be all or nothing. Meanwhile, we do have an SCV scout across the map. The the expansion has been spotted. Oh, Nyariko even killing some of his own SCVs there to make more Marines. You don't see that too often. But 2 SCVs were killed here by our Terran player just to make extra Marines. Debo's just finished. He was applicable for a moment. Academy is done, and we have Stim being researched as we speak. As a reminder, in Brood War, there are no add-ons. In Brood War, there are no add-ons for these buildings. Instead, you do research Stim via the Academy instead. You heard the scream earlier. I can't trigger it, but the Academy does scream. Iconically. Gotta love those audio assets from Brood War. Meanwhile, more Marines are amassing. Snokstar has kind of sniffed this out. I mean, it's very suspect that there's no expansion. Very suspect. 2 Raxes have been spotted, but Snokstar doesn't have confirmation. He's not fully aware of what's going on. He has an idea of what is happening. Safety Baneliness on the way. That is a 3-minute 15 at Baneliness timing, so very safe timing here from Snokstar. 3rd hatchery being thrown down to get his economy going, and we even have some spine crawlers as well. So Snokstar, for the most part, he doesn't know exactly what kind of all in, but he knows aggression is coming, and he does come for the Marines. Yeah, he spots all the Marines. Big scout here for Snokstar. He's aware that something's going on, something's amiss. He's aware of the mass bio. He's getting ready back at home with extra spine crawlers. I do like this. 1 spine crawler is not enough. We have a 2nd spine crawler on the way. We currently only have a minimum amount of queens, but we have lings and banelings in production as well. And here comes the all-in. The boys are being pulled. It's all or nothing for the Terran, and Snokstar does confirm with the Overlord, does see the boys being pulled as well. As a result, I'm not so sure 2 spine crawlers is going to be enough, but lings, they already come in from behind. They chip away at the Marines, the SCVs. They will deal some damage here, even forcing a delay. Army does turn around, and reinforcements are getting caught out as well. Very nice start for Snokstar, catching so many Marines. And Marines are going down one after the other. Meanwhile, across the map, Banelings are being morphed in. We have Lings, we have Banelings, we have 2 spine crawlers, and a Drain. Can Niar break this position? Can he bust them through? The Banelings have arrived. Baners, they crash on in. Decent connections here on the Marines. The splits are not good enough, and just like that, the Marines, they crumble. GG gets called. Snogstar holds, and Snogstar will take game number 1. Oh my god. GG, well played. Snogstar will take a lead in the series, and what a lead at that. Calm down. GG, well played. Snogstar will survive the all-in, but again, it did a great job at scouting, more or less confirming what was going on, was able to get eyes on the lack of expansion on all the Marines were amassing, more importantly, was able to slow down the all-in as well by coming in from behind, catching some of the SCVs, catching reinforcing Marines as well, did slow down the push, did buy some critical seconds to allow for more banelings to morph in. GG. GG, well played. Snogstar does take the first game, and now we're getting ready for game number 2. Now, my apologies, as I was so excited to jump into the first series and jump into the first game, I forgot predictions. So I do apologize, but if you're in the chat, we're already a game in. Predictions are open. I will do my best to be on top of predictions for the upcoming series. I'll do my best on that. I got ahead of myself. I apologize. I do apologize, but we're jumping into game number 2. You can get your gamba going in the chat. You can predict if you so choose. Place your points on the line if Nyarakul can bounce back, or if Snogstar will maintain the course and take the series. Game 2 is going to be on Retro. Let's go. Let us go. Screaming exactly what goes on in the academy I run. Oh no, not like this. Not like this. But yeah, that's what I love about this mod, is it's so nostalgic, like hearing the sound effects, whether it's of units, whether it's of buildings. It is a bit of a blast from the past, especially if you haven't seen and watched competitive Brood War in quite some time. But here we go, we're jumping into game 2, and now the roles have been reversed, because spawning in the top left hand corner of Retro, we have the Polish Zerg player. Last game was the SE2 Zerg, but now is going to be something quite different as the Brood War Zerg player. From land of Poland, it is Snogstar. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the Yellow Terran player. Now the SC2 Terran, it is Nyarakul. Nyarakul? Nia. Call him Nia. For now. And this time, looks like no one base all in. This time we have a depot here as a part of the choke point to wall off, to expand here at the natural location. On top of that, welcome to Retro, in more ways than one. And something very retro about this game, about this map, 4-player spawn. It's a 4-player spawn map, top left, or top right, bottom left, bottom right as well. It is a 4-player, every corner of the map you can spawn in on. There is a bit of RNG in play. As a result, Snogstar is scouting. First two Overlords, they get sent across the map to the corners of the map to scout for the spawn location to figure out what's going on. Despite that aggressive start, gas first here by Snogstar. Delayed expansion from our purple Zerg player is going into faster link speed, and we'll see if he's going to be making use of that. But now we do have our racks on the way. Again, it was a CC first. Bear that in mind. This was a very greedy build by the Terran player, going CC first into a delayed racks. What I was gonna say is that we have seen Reaper Harass be quite successful against Brood War Zerg players, because obviously the Brood War Zerg has no queens. There are no queens to defend, so Reapers can wreak havoc. But again, it was a delayed racks instead, so less aggressive. Likewise, just now going for an SCV scout. So even though Snogstar knows, the Terran does not. Actually, the Terran should. As you can see here with the vision of the Terran, they can see the Overlord. So even though they're scouting bottom right, because of the Overlord positioning, they should be aware that the opponent's here towards the north. So there are these little things, these little cues that you can take to kind of get a read on where your opponent is. Meanwhile, Lings are going to be pushing on forward, and because of the delayed racks, there is no unit to defend. The depot is going to be delayed. Delay in the depot, that could even be a kill. Marine has arrived, but the depot should go down. Just barely, and the Lings, they can flood in. Link speed is still not quite done. The Lings, they slowly start stepping forward. They get on top of the Marine. They get on top of the SCVs, and GG gets called. No! GG gets called. The greed gets punished, and Snogstar takes the series 2-0. GG. GG. So there's a lot that just went on here. If you recall, we pointed out that it was a more aggressive start from Snogstar going gas first. We pointed it out, it was gas first, it was gas, pull into hatchery, which meant faster link speed, which meant faster links as well. And we saw that because Snogstar was able to scout his opponent, made use of the links. But not just that, it was a combination of things. It was Snogstar being aggressive, but also the Terran player being greedy. Remember, it was CC first, so late racks, late units were produced. It was a Marine first, unfortunately, not a Reaper for that extra micro potential against slower lings. And alas, the wall was not finished either. So a lot kind of went right for Snogstar there, and a lot went wrong for Nia. Regardless, GG, well played. With that, congratulations, Snogstar will take the series, and Snogstar will advance on into the next round, where they have soon to be another opponent. I say soon because that was a fast series, and I'm pretty sure the other series are still ongoing. Estes Snogstar. I should have realized that coming into this. It's my fault, my mistake. I was like, oh, Snogstar, I haven't casted Snogstar in months. I want to cast him. And then as we're loading in, I'm like, you know, he's a pretty cheesy player. I wonder if that translates to this game mode as well. Yeah, it does, kind of. I mean, game one was also the Terran player being cheesy, so it goes both ways. Regardless, with that, let us head over to the bracket and try to catch up on what's been going on. The bracket is quite large. The bracket is quite massive. There's a lot going on, a lot of players, a lot of matches. And let's quickly try to summarize and figure out where we are headed next. From the top, we have Full Heart, the American Protoss player, ex-Zerg, now pro Cannon Rusher. So Full Heart is definitely a player to keep an eye on. We have 3 Point, the South Korean Zerg player. He is the HSL champion and was also a top competitor in the previous SEL. Let me just quickly check. I believe he in the end was the champion over Hon Mono. It was 3 Point, yeah, it was 3 Point and Hon Mono in the finals. 3 Point is the current reigning champion of the SEL, and 3 Point is the one to keep an eye on. So 3 Point is looking to make a deeper and deeper run, looking to reprise his role as the champion. As you can imagine, Hon Mono is going to be placed on the other side of the bracket, so we'll see if they can face off and have a rematch in the finals 2 weeks in a row, or 2 editions in a row. Scrolling down, we have Snogstar waiting for the winner of Quanta and Haroku. I was very tempted to jump into Quanta versus Haroku, but I went for Snogstar first. But the reason why I focused on this series is because Snogstar versus Quanta looks juicy. Now, I am, assuming that Quanta advances on. Quanta, for those who don't know, is a Korean Terran player in SE2, and of course has been putting a lot of effort and time into this format as well. So I look forward to the upcoming next round in this portion of the bracket. That's kind of why we're parked in this area. Scrolling down, we have Mixu versus Ukabul. Mixu, of course, the Finnish Zerg player, has also been looking quite powerful and quite potent in this new SC Evo mod. We did cast Mixu last time, and I look forward to seeing Mixu again. Meanwhile, Boanan takes down DeWalt 2-0. Boanan, also known as a Cannon Rusher. That's why that series was fast, I'm sure. That was even faster than our series, by the way. So I'm sure cheese was had and there was some shenanigans going on. So best of luck to Mixu and Ukabul as they go up against Boanan in the next round. Best of luck. Scrolling down, we have Nikic versus Hyper Dragon as well, currently mid-series. I have not seen Nikic compete in this tournament, so I'm curious. How Nikic will approach this. I'm curious how much practice Nikic has put into the Brood War side of things. In SE2, Nikic is an amazing player. In Brood War, I don't know. So that's what's exciting about covering these series and covering these players, is like, we know what they're capable of in SE2, but how are they capable on the Brood War side of things? Because again, they're typically forced to play the Brood War side and race in these series as well. So always exciting to see, always exciting to find out. Scrolling down, we have the lower half of the brackets, plenty of other matches. We have Shin. Now, Shin is a player that we casted last edition as well. Shin, of course, aka Ragnarok, Korean Zerg player. Coming into this, I would assume he is the one to win it all. And I assumed that last edition as well. I recommend watching the VODs for SEL number 1, but we did cast Shin, and Shin did well, but Shin got knocked out earlier on in the bracket, did not make it to the finals, was knocked out and cheesed out by Honmono. And they could have a rematch. I can see Shin and Honmono, they could face off in the quarterfinals. We'll see if that happens again. And again, Honmono, he cheesed the hell out of Shin. Got him out of there, got him out of there. So I'm sure he wants his revenge. It's going down. There's Honmono, there's Fnatic as well, the Polish Protoss player. A lot of Polish players actually kind of sprinkled throughout the event, throughout the bracket. You have Nodicon, he just took down Serenity 2-0. Best of luck to Nodicon in the next round. Again, my favorite players to make a deeper run here is Shin, is Honmono. Scoring down, we have Skillous. I have not seen any of Skillous's SE Evo. Obviously, he is one of the best Protoss players in Europe. He is top 3 alongside Max Pax and Showtime. Just under them, I would play Skillous. If not even, at times even being interchangeable with them when it comes to ranking and placement in the land of Europe. So I'm curious how Skillous performs on the other side of things, right? Or when it comes to playing the Brood War Protoss race. So I am curious. We'll see if we can catch some Skillous. I'm hoping he makes the deep run, then we can cast some of his matches later on. We'll see. Scrolling down, we have 40 versus Nihed. We have Nihed. We have Sayark. Sayark is another big name that I'm looking at. Sayark was the runner-up, I believe, the runner-up of the HSL, the Hyperstar League, a month ago at this point. But he is another one to keep an eye out for. He is the Japanese Terran player, the best player in all of Japan. And Sayark has been investing quite a lot of time into this mod, so he's definitely a player that I keep my eye on. Scrolling down, we have Rebellion. Rebellion up against Promi. Rebellion, also the Korean Protoss player, has also been dedicating a lot of time, has been improving a lot, and curious to see how he compares against Sayark. That's going to be another spicy matchup as well. So a lot of really good matches, a lot of really good stories as well that are about to come into play. Rebellion versus Sayark, potential Shin versus Honmono rematch as well. Skillous, how's he performing in this mod? Well, I don't know. We'll find out. So can his SE2 race carry him? Can he compare with his Brutal race? That's also an exciting kind of question to ponder as well. But I mentioned before that our attention is here on the upper half of the bracket. Again, we are waiting for, we already have Full Heart versus 3 Point, currently mid-series. They have just begun, and we are waiting for Quanta versus Haroku to wrap up as well, to follow that into Snogstar, to follow that into the winner of 3 Point and Full Heart, and then we'll see where we go from there. So a lot of fun matches ahead of us. Yeah, a lot of fun matches. Shout out to all the other community casters as well. I believe Indy is casting in Polish, and Enki is casting in Spanish as well. And I think Bolmioja is casting also in English. I believe Bolmioja is covering Quanta's match actually, so we might end up joining forces there. And I'm not so sure if there are other casters in the bracket. Yet to be determined. Just catching up. Just catching up in the chat. I do miss the 4-player maps. Yeah, I mean, 4-player maps. I mean, I think what I settled on before is I understand the logic behind not having 4-player maps anymore, just because, again, it does add quite a bit of randomness. But I would be okay for advocating for at least 3-player maps again. You know, it's a little bit easier to scout. There's less kind of randomness to it as well. So I would not be opposed to 3-player maps making a return to SE2. Definitely. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It is fun though. It is fun. Here we go. Meanwhile, let me just quickly double check here. Okay, so we are soon to begin the round of 16, and especially because I was originally going to be waiting for Quanta versus Haroku leading into Snogstar, but especially because Bolmioja is covering Quanta at the moment, we may as well hop over and jump into 3 Point versus Full Heart, which is about to begin, which should also be a fun series. It's probably going to be a short one though, I'll be honest. Full Heart is known for cannon rushing, and we did cast him last week, and he also did nothing but cannon rush. So I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to jump into. Oh no. Not again, Pappy. Not again. But especially because we have a little bit of downtime, there's no reason not to just jump in, right? Not to just jump in and hop onto Full Heart versus 3 points. A nice, 5-minute series. I'm ready. I'm ready for the cannons. It's going to be beautiful, I'm sure. Just catching up in the chat. But yeah, otherwise, I hope you've all been doing well. Again, we didn't have a cast earlier in the morning. There was no like KSL, there was no SDO, not this week, at least not this week. But at least we have the SE Evolution upon us. Likewise, I know that Wardy is covering the qualifier for his festival, and we are going to be reaching out. I'll reach out after the broadcast to see if, from my understanding, is open to having some community coverage as well. So we might jump in, not into his current qualifier, clearly, but future qualifiers, and maybe the rest of the Wardy TV festival. Maybe. We'll see. We'll reach out about it. Oh, meanwhile, looks like Quanta did just take down Heroku 2-0. Snogstar versus Quanta is about to begin. Likewise, so is 3 Point and Full Heart. And yeah, we might just cover. We'll see. we'll see what becomes available first, and we'll see what we jump into. Regardless, I guess we're going to be going on a short break here. Just have to wait a little bit longer. When it comes to the format of the tournament, you will never see the same kind of iteration or the same side face against each other. What I mean by that, you won't be seeing SC2 versus SC2. You won't be seeing Brood War versus Brood War. It is strictly, either a version of the game against each other. That is how the game is balanced. That's how the tournament is set up. So just as a heads up, that's kind of the dynamic that we should be seeing in every one of these matches. Likewise, the way that the veto system works, likewise the way that all this kind of comes together is also that the players, they take turns picking what race they want to play. Alright, we're gonna go on a short break. we're gonna go on a short break, Pappy. Gonna go on a short break. We are just sorting things out with what series is gonna be casted next. For now, we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Take this moment to hydrate Hydra, stretch your roaches, massage your marines, and enjoy yourselves. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with our next series. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We have our next series, our second series of the night. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the round of 16. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran. It is Quanta. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Red Zerg player, the Polish Zerg. It is Snokstar. And if you're in the chat, get your gamba going because predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Will it be the Polish Zerg or the Korean Terran player? As once again, we have a gas first build. Once again, I'm expecting aggression out of Snokstar. Snokstar is a very aggressive, very cheesy player. Quanta less so. So it's going to be a more of a defensive role here taken by our Terran player and a more aggressive one by our Zerg player. As a reminder as well, as this is going to be gas pool into a delayed hatchery, we have SC2 Zerg against Brood War Terran. Oh boy. Now, I did mention earlier that we were going to be covering Full Heart versus 3 points and experiencing those cannon rushes. My apologies. Bomyoja is going to be covering that series instead, and we've instead kind of like tagged over and switched over, and we'll be covering our original series, Quanta versus Snokstar. Which I'm more than happy to because we're kind of following our previous player further along into the brackets, into the round of 16. So there's a little bit more cohesion here, a little bit more, a little bit more just makes sense when it comes to the players we're following, for the time being at least. We'll see where this takes us. But now, oh my god, wait, what's happening? Okay, it's going to be a Rax expand, or sorry, it's going to be a CC first here into a 3-rack setup from Quanta. Meanwhile, Lings are going to be flooding. Lings are flooding across the map. Ling speed is already being researched. We have pulled out a gas. Bear that in mind. That means that we shouldn't be rushing into. A Roach Warren or a Bailey Nest or anything too crazy. As Lings are moving out, and the SCV does confirm. SCV scouts the Lings, scouts the delayed hatchery, and I love this here from Quanta. He needs to confirm if more gases have been taken, if there is a Roach Warren, for example, or a Bailey Nest. Quanta, he backs off, does rotate around. Lings are going to be moving out across the map, and the first Marine has arrived. There's one Marine here. I love that it's tucked away behind the mineral line to reduce surface area to make sure it does not get surrounded. The boys are here as well to be pulled. Speaking of, the boys are pulled. Nice hold position micro here on top or in front of that Marine. Or just being a buffer zone essentially. And Lings are fended off. So far, Quanta, he's holding. Holding well. Quanta is holding and back at home. We do see Snokstar just joining up and transitioning. Snokstar is not going all in. Link speed is about to finish up, and Snokstar can definitely threaten the army here of Quanta, but at this point the Marine count is too high, and these Lings, oh yeah, they won't do much. One Ling goes down, Snokstar has to back off, and after the initial openers, oh my god, that is an insanely fast Bailey Nest. Okay, I was gonna say after the initial openers, I want to favor Quanta. Quanta has the better economy. Straight up, he has the better economy. He has his 5-rack setup. And off of this 5-rack setup, this can be just the beginnings of a 2-base all-in. I say that, Academy's on the way, and we are working towards Stimp. But this should be a 2-base all-in from Quanta, already moving out across the map. Bailey Nest is almost done. It's going to be done in time here for the push, but our slow Bailing's going to be enough. I mean, bearing in mind, these are going to be slow Bailings against Vanilla Marines. There is no Stim with this. Not with the first wave. But we're making 5 Marines at a time. Ling slips in. Oh my, the scouts! Ling does slip in, does confirm. Oh, true. Terran has no wall because depots don't lift and land. True. Not wrong. Here we go, Marines. They get across the map. Nice soldier stepping here, going for the hatchery. We have some Bailings to work with, but not that many Lings, actually. I'm not sure we can really engage. The first Bailing gets targeted down, but the other 3 will make it through. Yeah, big connections. You can see Marines without Stim have a hard time splitting. They have a hard time spreading here against the army, and Snokstar holds. He shuts down the push and defends his 3rd. Very nicely done here by Snokstar. Snokstar catching reinforcements, going for the Marines. Nice split here from Quanta, just trading as efficiently as possible. We'll bleed out all the Marines, and behind this, Stim is still on the way. And we don't really have too much of a follow-up. We have Stim, of course, getting into more Marines. Medevac production has begun, but now Snokstar has momentum, and he's not droning. Snokstar is not droning up now. The turns have tabled, and we have nothing but Ling Bang moving out across the map. Quanta trying to wall off, but last of the Lings that have arrived will delay the wall. Marines are revealed. Ooh, the melee gets started down. Very nicely done. We have to pull the boys. Stim does finish up just in time. And with the help of Stim, the Lings, they melt. Ooh, they melt so quick. Ling Bane threatening a dive. But again, these are still slow Banelings. The Stim, oh my god. The Stim Marines, the target fire. The Banelings, they don't touch the Marines. And Quanta holds. And now Snogstar's in a rough position. Oof, late drones, late upgrades as well. Double Evo chamber, now gases, no saturation at the third. Snogstar's in a rough position. He was all in, and it did not pay off. Did not pay off in the end. We do see Snogstar trying to catch reinforcements. We'll catch submarines. The Medivacs! Oh, sorry, medics. God damn it. They're not quite Medivacs. You know what I mean. The medics. They did get surrounded for a moment, but they actually maintain themselves. They do push out across the map. Medics did survive. And across the map, once again, we have to pull off the defense with slow Banelings, but they are on creep. They will be slightly faster. Lings catching reinforcements. Once again, nice Stim. Does Stim in time. Boys are being pulled, but only one Marine left. Meanwhile, across the map, Ling Bane rolling forward. Ooh, takes down the Medivacs. God damn. The medics, you know what I mean. Medics do fall. Fun fact, I've been casting a couple of these events. I think this is the first time I'm seeing medics in game. We've been casting a lot of mech when it comes to Terran players. I haven't cast a lot of bio actually, so I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Behind this, third CC has just begun. It is a little bit later, that is true, but because of how chaotic the game has been, because of the lack of drones that Snogstar has, this later third base is perfectly fine here for Snogstar. Things are going to be forced back. Jesus, Snogstar only now. This is a 7-minute lair. Oh my god. Again, a very late lair time, with the lair is on the way. 1-1, of course, being researched as well for Snogstar. But 1-1 is already kicking in for Quanta. So Quanta will have a massive upgrade lead. And again, there's a big window here where Baneling's speed is nowhere near being done. Let's see if Quanta tries to break out. eBay's lift and land. They do. This was back in the past when eBay's had the technology to lift up into the sky. That's information, that technology was lost in the annals of time. True. Facts. But here we go. Quanta is going to be pushing out. We have Firebats behind this. Going to be trying to reinforce. Again, Firebats have quite a crucial role here when it comes to this army composition, when it comes to just tanking Banelings, tanking shots. Just being a buffer zone for the Marines. As Marines do stim in, Baneling speed has begun. And we do see Quanta bypassing the main army, trying to head towards that third. And nice initial engage by Quanta. Will collapse up with the expansion. The fourth base is denied. And Snogstar cannot save it. Has to stay back. 2-2 has begun. Baneling speed almost complete here for Snogstar. Once Baneling speed is done, Snogstar can be a lot more proactive here when it comes to engaging with the Marines, engaging with the army. Drop moving out. As a reminder, here in this kind of setup, the dropship does not heal, only transports. No boost either. Smudge is headed towards the main. Ling Bane setting up. Baneling speed just not finishing. Oh no! Bane speed is now done. We crash in, and Quanta was not ready for this. Hellbat's trying to filter through, but last is just a sea of Ling Bane, and Snogstar will clean this up. The splits are good towards the end, but alas, does not matter. Not anymore. Lings, they get a full surround on the medics, on the Marines. Meanwhile, across the drop is getting damage. And Snogstar can get into the middle line. Can he break through the reinforcements? Once again, a nice last second split. How about Ling Bane gets into the middle line? SCVs are going down. Meanwhile, across the map, drones are falling as well. Treading a mineral line for a mineral line. Quanta desperately trying to hold on. Firebat doing a lot of damage. Oh my god, the one Firebat. It's crazy. The one Firebat will defend. Bailey's they crash in. Into the Firebat though, not into the mineral line. Meanwhile, across the map, the drop is still not cleaned up. Well, the pickup does pick up, does get out of there, only losing 3 units. And Quanta, he defends back at home and deals some nice damage across the map as well. The expansion's so low. The lair, it's almost gone down at this point. Oh my god. How much damage does this drop do? Quanta pulling away. He's got a solid economy. Now getting to his own science vessel. Additional starports on the way. And Quanta, you can reinforce, it can push out once again. Does feel like Snogstar is on the back foot. Trying desperately here to hold on. And throwing down some desperation spine crawlers. Bearing in mind that in this iteration of the game, Zerg players, SC2 Zerg cannot make additional, oh, do you ready? Cannot make additional queens. Nice splits here against the Ling Bane. You have to be so careful about that irradiate. Yeah, the Bailey's a little bit too little too late. The one Hellbat standing strong. Oh my god! Like, Hellbats are so tanky. They're so small yet so strong. Oh my god. Yeah, with that, GG gets called as Quanta breaks through and Quanta takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Very, very impressive. I mean, I say very impressive play by Quanta, but it was a very chaotic game. Remember, this was also a Zerg player that had initially gone for an all-in. Snogstar was hyper aggressive, was very in the face of Quanta, and that is also why Snogstar never really took an economic lead. Was always even, if not behind the economy of Quanta. So Snogstar just wasn't really able to get into the mid to late game, wasn't able to get into any further tech either, was kind of stuck on Ling Bane. And yeah, the aggressive nature of Snogstar didn't really pay off in the end. Was able to do some counter damage across the map, but nothing too critical. For the most part, Quanta was doing a great job at being able to have, at his crisis management, I should say, to defend, to deal with the aggression, and to even counterattack across the map. GG. GG, well played. Quanta does take a lead, and we'll see where this game takes us in game number 2. We'll see where the series takes us in game 2. So here we go. Just catching up. Just gonna be catching up. I think we do have a command to the... There we go. We have a command here to help support StarCraft Evolution. Do we have a wiki command? No, not quite. Not quite. But yeah, if you want to help support this mod, you can do so via Patreon. Do you have their own Patreon set up, I believe? Would Brood War Terran Bio work against Brood War Protoss in this mod? I mentioned before that Brood War races do not play against each other. It is not balanced. From my understanding, the game is not balanced for the Brood War races to face off against each other, only against the SC2 iterations of the race instead. So that is that also in a way kind of makes it a little bit easier to balance the races as well. For those that are curious, the game is patched quite relatively regularly, is being updated and adjusted over time, which is why it's not like a carbon copy of the original Brood War. No, the stats, the numbers have been adjusted again for a more balanced kind of state against the SC2 races. I think, for example, a lot of the Brood War spells, their time has been reduced by quite a lot. Despite that, it still lasts a long time. I'm referring to things like Irradiate or, almost like Contamination, or Dark Swarm, for example. God, it's crazy how long they last. Or Plague. Or Plague. But here we go. We're jumping into game number 2. We're gonna be loading into Retro once again, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of this 4-player map, we have the South Korean Terran player Now rolling the SC2 Terran race, it is Quanta. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the Polish Zerg player, the Purple Zerg. This time rolling the Brutal Zerg race, it is Snuckstar. Here we go. We are setting up. Once again, Snuckstar is going for a gas first build. We mentioned this earlier, but Snuckstar is a very aggressive player. He's very cheesy as well. He's very in your face. And we saw this build showcased in the previous series as well against his previous Terran opponents, where Snuckstar can be hyper aggressive with Lings early on, as it is going to be a gas first into a pool, into a delayed hatchery. So fast Ling speed and fast Lings for Snuckstar. Meanwhile, sends out his first Overlord towards the north, second Overlord towards the right-hand side, which means this first Overlord will scout first where Quanta has spawned in. Bearing in mind as well that an Overlord has a higher vision or higher vision range than a building SCV, I believe, or than even these buildings that have yet to complete. So it's possible for Snuckstar to kind of like edge in and scout his opponents and not actually reveal his own location to Quanta. It's going to be close though. He has to stay away from the SCVs. As the Overlord is dipping in. Still trying to get a read on what's going on. Spawning pool's almost done. Link's going to be on the way. And Quanta... Quanta will eventually spot this. He will. He will spot this as the... No! He doesn't! The Overlord turns around! Overlord does turn around just in time. I believe Quanta was barely not able to scout that. And Quanta has yet to SCV scout. So Quanta's still in the dark as to what's going on, but did open up 2x Reaper. And that means we have double the Reapers. Yeah, you can see Quanta, he doesn't know about the Overlord, he didn't see it. So Quanta is scouting for the expansion. He's trying to figure out where Snuckstar is. We know, Quanta doesn't. So Quanta goes top right, confirms there is no expansion. Now he's checking bottom right, and here come the Lings. Lings are moving out across the map. Link speed is almost done. Bearing in mind as well that Hydras are hatch tech in this mod for Brood War, not lair tech. And Lings have arrived. They delay the CC. They even force a cancel. Yeah, Reaper's racing back home, but the CC is going to be denied. Massive pick off. It's very nicely done here by Snuckstar, but this is where the power of SC2 Terran comes into play. Mass Reaper. Reapers, they have a lot of mobility, of course. They shut down the Lings. We have a CC being rebuilt here on the high ground, transitioning into Bio, into Sim, into Reactors and Tech Labs. And Quanta is going to be stuck at home. Link speed is now done. And Quanta actually does not move out. He's more concerned about defending and surviving. Quanta hasn't seen anything about what's going on. And again, Snuckstar is rushing into that Hydra Den and is barely droning. It's one of those things where Snuckstar denied the expansion, which was really good, but he's not mining himself. Just one worker here at the natural invested so heavily into these Lings. Snuckstar did double expand, taking his third, and now Snuckstar is droning. The droning is late, but it's on the way. Meanwhile, Snuckstar going for the low ground depot. Marines barely out of range. Yeah, they're not going to be able to save it. Depot will fall. Quanta's still looking. He doesn't know. He's still looking for the expansion. Still trying to piece together what's going on, and Quanta will finally find at least some of these bases, as he now is aware of where Snuckstar has spawned in. Behind this, the lair is done, and lurkers are being researched. The way that this works, for those that are curious, Hydra tech is hatch tech, right? You can throw down a Hydra den at hatchery tech and make Hydras as well, but lurkers are lair tech. So you do need the lair to actually morph in and research lurker tech instead. I could have worded that better. I apologize. But yeah, you get it. I said the word tech too much. Like, it's late here, okay? It's almost 1 a.m. Smurge. For now, we do see Snuckstar droning up somewhat, getting up to 1.5 base saturation, and massing up and rushing into lurkers. The lurker upgrade is now researched, and we are just getting lurkers as quickly as possible. Again, Snuckstar is not looking at macro. And Quanta did confirm lack of saturation at the third, But Quanta didn't see lack of saturation at the natural. Snogstar's all in. He's completely all in. Again, he's rushing Lings and rushing into Lurkers. Lurkers have arrived. The Lurker shots! Oh my god! 2 Lurker shots go off. Marines have to back off as well. No tanks behind this. And the Lurkers are slowly pushing forward. They're getting within range of the natural. I say slowly, very quickly pushing forward. And Snogstar just rushing in between the bases. Zoning the Marines away. Stim is done. There's the skin. And can we get on top of the Lurkers? First Lurker will go down. Oh, but there are too many Lings. Yeah, too many Lings. Not enough to support. Marines get surrounded. Hellbat gets surrounded as well. And it looks like Snogstar has done it. He has broken through, takes down the depots, getting on top of the production. This 4 Lurker rush. 1 Lurker died, if you recall. It was 4 Lurkers and Mass Ling. A very crisp build out of Snogstar, very well thought out. And it has broken Quanta. Has broken him, getting into the mineral line at this point. And barely an economy. So many SCVs going down. GG gets called, and Snogstar will take game number 2, tying us up 1-1. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Again, a very interesting rush here from Snogstar. I believe he cut workers at 33. I believe he droned up to 33. Of course, rushed into the Hydrogen, rushed into the Lair, rushed into Lurker Tech, and had enough gas for 4 Lurkers. 4 Lurkers and a pure Ling Flood. Pure Ling Flood behind it. To all in and to break the Terran. And now we're getting into game number 3. The ace match. It all ends here. It all ends on Alcyone. Let's go. Let us go. Catching up with the chat. Hello, Jeff Bezos. Hello. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Good to see you. Is that Hyper One's tournament? Kind of. Previously, this was known as the HSL, the Hyper Star League, but now it has since rebranded. Other people have gotten involved, other sponsors as well, but Hyper One is the admin. He is the admin of the event, and Hyper One has been working hard when it comes to adapting Brood War maps to SE2. Has been hard at work. Hyper One is quite invested in the mod. Here we go. Here we go. We are getting into game number 3, and how will this story end? Something that I'm sure we can all get behind here, that we all know that's going to happen. It's going to be gas first, right? But for Snogstar, we should be seeing aggression once again from our Zerg player, and we'll see how it changes here in the ace match, how things differ. As we're getting into game 3 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alcyone, we have the Polish Zerg player. Ooh, this time playing SC2 Zerg. It is Snogstar. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Brood War Terran player, the blue Terran from South Korea. It is Quanta. Show us that gas geyser. But let's go. And there it is. It is going to be gas first once again. Every single game, just regardless whether it's SE2 or Brood War, Snogstar has been opening up gas first. Every game in this series. So going to be prioritizing link speed, of course, faster spawning pool, delayed expansion. But what's important is that we've seen layers. There are layers to this build. If it doesn't do critical damage early on, it leads into banelings, into baneling aggression. It's all over game state. But Quanta has already played against this once before. Already played against it once on Oceanborn, if you remember, in game 1. And we'll see how he compares. How he can deal with it here in game number 3. And Snogstar should soon be expanding behind. Oh my, okay! I was curious. I'm like, we should be expanding. Where's the drone? I mean, the drone was on a mission, and we're going for the gold base first. Okay, so Snogstar rushing into the gold, and I don't see Quanta punishing this. I mean, if this was SE2, then Reapers, right? Reapers and Hellions would be all over this expansion and all over this location, and Snogstar, this is not viable in SE2. But against Brood War Terran, I can see this working. I mean, sure, vultures can be quite speedy and quite active, but if Quanta doesn't really take in that direction, if he relies on marines and medevacs instead, sorry, marines and medics instead, then yeah, at least in the early game, I don't see Quanta being punished too much. We'll see. We shall see. As scouting SCV is going to be shut down, Quanta does confirm. Oh no, he hasn't seen much actually. I mean, he's aware of the fast pool. Sure, he's aware of the fast spawning pool at least. Quanta is going to be rotating around, and he's going to be checking the third base location. And he spots the drones. Big scout. He does spot the workers, so now he's aware of the gold. There's no other reason for the drones to be here. And we'll see how Quanta does respond. Yep, double factory. I love this. Double factory here out of Quanta. The Overlord has spotted and has confirmed the Raxes and the Marines. And it looks like Bio play again, but we know it isn't. We know that vultures are on the way. And this is what I assumed. How do you punish this expansion? How do you punish the space? With vultures. So it is going to be mech instead, not Bio. But before that happens, Bane bust. Before we can talk about the vultures, Pappy, here we go. The Banelings are morphing in, and Snogstar, he's not going for a longer game state here. He barely has any saturation at the gold. It's all about breaking the Terran here and now at the natural. The Banelings are enough to break down that depot. And there's just the one vulture for the time being. And again, we are cutting marine production. We had to deviate away from marine production to get into factories. Like, the production has been delayed quite heavily. Quanta has 2 units. Quanta has 2 vultures to defend and 1 marine. Barely an army. Again, Quanta was expecting maybe a greedier player, but we know better. It's Snogstar. It's not about the greed. It's about the aggression. Banelings, they crash in. 3 Banelings left. Ooh, they take down the SCVs. So far, some nice kiting here, but alas, with Ling speed, Lings, they catch up, they keep up, and they shut down 2 of those vultures. And 2 vultures go down. Lings, they flood in behind this. With the help of SCVs, we can defend. Nice positioning here in the mineral line. We have run out of Banelings. 1 Baneling about to morph in. 2 more Banelings on the way. Quanta so far not taking critical damage with the Baneling. He does waddle in. The Baneling! The SCVs! Oh my god. They do stack. Massive connection. 11 SCVs go down. 14! 14 workers have fallen. Another Baneling waddling into the mineral line. Getting 15 workers in total. But alas, Quanta, is he holding? Quanta, despite losing all those workers, still has a worker lead. The Spider Mine! Ooh, bit of friendly fire. But the Spider Mine research has completed. Oh my god. And they will be able to connect. They take down a Baneling. They get 1. Just the 1 though. As Banelings once again, they go for the mineral line. Quanta is so close to holding. He's so close to Banelings. Oh! Oof. They are targeted down. Lings are cleaned up. The friendly fire, no! We dragged the Spider Mine in. Calm down. 8 SCVs go down. We are even in workers, bearing in mind the gold base. The Snogstar does have an economic lead. Barely. Bearing in mind as well that there's less micro potential with the Spider Mine compared to a Widow Mine, where Widow Mines you can unburrow manually. You cannot do that with Spider Mines. So they can be baited out. So with that, the aggression has subsided. Snogstar is droning, working towards roaches. Meanwhile, Quanta is attempting to stabilize. Is making SCVs as we speak. Trying to stabilize back at home. See Snogstar baiting out those mines. Gets 2. 2 for 1 even. Oh my god, never mind. Never mind. As the Lings are cleaned up, we have more Lings on the way behind this. Snogstar has map control, has his Onaga. Oh, risky move here by Quanta. Yeah, Lings reveal themselves. They're going for the surround. And where are the Spider Mines? Where are they? Yeah, Quanta does overextend. And he will lose all of these vultures. Yeah, that's 4 vultures going down. Expensive loss. Lings will eventually be cleaned up, but they get another vulture. Oh, they barely do not. Oh, they do. They barely get 1 more. Behind this, Quanta making, oh my god, 4, soon to be 5 vultures at a time. Snogstar transitioning into Ling Roach instead, bearing in mind Hatch Tech. Bearing in mind these are going to be slow roaches for Snogstar. Oh my god, that's a lot of mines. Oh, Jesus. And yeah, Quanta's looking quite secure back at home. I want to see how much damage these do to roaches, not going to lie. Speaking of... Oh my god, was that splash damage? Jesus. The roaches are going to be cleaned up, at least some of them are. Vultures headed for the mineral line. Yeah, they take down the queen. They rally on in. They merely tickle roaches, bear that in mind. Yeah, it's the spider mines that do damage. Ooh, as the biles don't quite connect. Oh my god! Spider mines, they don't do too badly at all against Roach Ravager. Oh, and the biles are not quite connecting here. The spider mines are thinner than Widow mines. Just one spider mine goes down. You have to be more precise against them. As usual, vultures are cleaned up. Quanta rotating behind, catching out the Ravagers. Yeah, nice splits. Ravagers are being shut down. Oh my god, the minefield is insane. Oh, the friendly fire! Calm down. As Quanta's gonna rotate around. Headed towards the gold again. He's so close to punishing this gold base. It's so exposed. Lings, they come in for a surround. Oh my god. Spider-Man goes off. That was a better trade for Quanta. He lost 2 of his own vultures in that trade, but did kill all the Lings. And there it is. GG. Good luck gets called as the gold base has been compromised. And Quanta will take the series 2-1. Whew. GG. GG. Well played. Congratulations here to Quanta as he does take the series. My condolences to Snockstar. Snockstar, again, he was hyper aggressive in the face of his opponent. And I thought he would break him. Honestly, when it came to the first Bane bust, I thought Snockstar had enough to break Quanta, and he did bust into the main, did deny any kind of mining at the natural, but he barely didn't have enough to break the back of Quanta. Very nice SCV control and worker micro out of Quanta to preserve his units. Very nice target firing as well with the vultures to focus on the banelings. It was a very intense, very chaotic moment for Quanta, but he was able to bring it all together, did defend, did survive, and did take the series. GG. GG, well played. I was also really excited to see how vultures compared to Roach Ravagers, like how a Brood or mech army deals with what is usually the answer to mech in SE2. So I was really curious to see that dynamic. And as we saw, vultures don't do that much damage, auto attack damage to Roach Ravager. As we saw, they were really tickling roaches, but it was the spider mines. The spider mines were brutal, and we also saw an interesting dynamic as well, where the model of the spider mine is straight up thinner, is slimmer than the model of the Widow mine. At least it looks, yeah, it is the case. As a result, despite the biles being right next to those spider mines, the spider mines were surviving. They weren't quite going off. So that was also an interesting thing to note as well, is that there is counterplay, but you have to have more precise counterplay, or maybe just have detection to make it a little bit easier as well. Yeah, that was definitely an interesting dynamic to kind of spot and to see. But the sea of spider mines was brutal. It was crazy. It also does look like vultures are very vulnerable to the friendly fire. Like, we saw a lot of vultures explode to the spider mines as well, so there's a lot of like counterplay there with Lings. So not just purely Roach Ravager, but with Lings as well, you can bait out the spider mines. We saw as well something interesting. We want to make sure we don't get left behind. Un momento. But something interesting that we did take note of as well is that with one Ling you can bait out multiple spider mines. That's something that doesn't happen with Widow mines. Widow mines, if there's one Ling, only, you know, it's only going to bait out one shot, just because they have individual targeting. And that isn't the case with spider mines. That's also something to bear in mind as well, is that you can be more efficient with baiting out those shots and dragging those shots as well. With Lings, I should emphasize. But yeah, with that, un momento, we are getting ready for our next series. We're getting ready for our next matchup, and we're going to be following Quanta into a series against 3 Point. Let's go. Let us go. And let's take this moment to have a look at the bracket and figure out where we are and where we're headed. So I was just trying to find where we are. We're good, we're good. But from the top, we do have a lot of updates coming in. 3 Point takes down Full Heart 2-0. Big win there for 3 Point. Does bring down the Cannon Rusher himself in Full Heart. We have Quanta taking down Snogstar 2-1, which we did cover, of course. Quanta now up against 3 Point in the quarterfinals. That is our next series. So we do need a moment to set that up, to get things going for the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, do we have any other updates? We do. Scrolling down, we have Mangrustle. We have Mangrustle taking down his opponent 2-0, waiting for the winner of Mixu and Boanan. That is currently still mid-series, still ongoing. Scrolling down, we have Shin. Shin takes down Fnatic 2-0, waiting for the winner of Honmono and Noticon even. We have Skillus versus Nighthead as well. We have Rebellion takes down Psyark 2-0. That's a big win. That's a big result coming in. Rebellion has brought Psyark down. He's waiting for the winner of Skillus and Nighthead into the quarterfinals. So the quarterfinals are getting underway, and you can hear the beeps. Vetoes are done, and we're jumping into our next ZVT. We will now feature the reigning champion, the reigning SEL champion in 3 Point. Oh boy. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team Hyper 1. It is 3 Point. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the SC2 Terran. It is Quanta. Here we go. I will need a moment here to set up the player name. I got you. I got you. Un momento. Bam. Beautiful. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It's Gamba time, papi. Let's go. Predictions are now open. Play show bets on who you think will take the series. Again, 3 Point, I would say, is the heavy favorite. 3 Point is the reigning SEL champion. But Quanta is no slouch either. I do think that Quanta is one to threaten 3 Point, and it can be one of the few to bring him down in this tournament. Oh boy. We were able to showcase Quanta earlier against the aggressive nature of Snogstar, but 3 Point isn't as cheesy. This time, it is going to be gas first though. Gas pull into a hatchery here from 3 Point is going to be prioritizing Link speed. Now, this is more commonplace in this matchup just because, again, there are no queens to defend. Because there are no queens, against Reaper aggression in the early game, Link speed is a lot more necessary here for the Brood War Zerg player to defend, to survive. You have 6 Lings on the way. First Reaper is in production, but I do believe that is why we've seen the rise of this opener in this matchup of Brood War Zerg versus SC2 Terran. Is to compensate for the lack of queens. But that's a lot of Lings though. Jesus. That's 8 Lings on the way. We do have 3 Point throwing down a macro hatch here on the low ground. Quanta will confirm and does get eyes on the Lings. Quanta getting right back at home. Reaper does turn back around, so Quanta is going to be keeping his Reaper to defend to protect that CC to make sure it does not get cancelled, and is making Marines behind this to support. As 3 Point is moving out, he's still making more Lings. Oh my god, he's not stopping. 3 Point, he's link flooding. He's straight up link flooding. No drones whatsoever, just Lings across the map. And is that going to be enough to break Quanta? Some of the boys are being pulled to help defend. Yeah, the SCVs have arrived, but is it going to be enough? Lings, they bust in. They're going to surround on the Marine. And the Marine did not get the Overlord. SCVs are falling. Reaper taking a lot of damage as well. We'll have to pull away. And the CC is not delayed. Command center does complete. Lings, they bust into the main. They get a surround on one of the Marines. A bit of mismovement there from Quanta as the production is being camped. Lings, they flood into the main base. 3 SCVs so far. They didn't quite get more. Oh, they want the Reaper though. Oh, they want it. Reaper does pull away. Nice control here out of Quanta. Ooh, but the Reaper does fall. Reaper goes down. Lings, Marines as well. The Hellion has arrived. The help of the Hellion. Oh my, so many SCV kills. Oh my god. The link flood, it breaks through. 9 SCVs go down. And GG gets called. That is game-ending damage, and 3 points with the Ling Flood. Deals critical damage and takes game 1. Whew. GG. Oh my god. Like, the moment that we saw the 3-point just kept making lings, it's like, oh my god, he's crazy. And it barely did work out. And again, Quanta was so close to sniping that first Overlord. That first Overlord was so low, barely did not get it. He spent a lot of DPS from the Marine on that Overlord as well, instead of on the Lings. Didn't quite get it in the end. Overlord was saved, and 3-point was able to snowball from there, able to bust into the main base. There was no full wall either, bear that in mind. And with that, GG. GG, well played. 3-point takes game 1. I'm hoping for some longer series. Last edition, 2 weeks ago, we did have a lot of macro games between 3-point and Terran players, but we're not getting that today. Period. We're getting a lot of cheese and a lot of aggression. I'm hoping for some longer games, but it's on our players. We'll see what happens. We shall see. Just catching up. Here we go. Oh, as looks like we might have picked the wrong races, so we're going to be remaking and rehosting the lobby. Well, we'll be back. Looks like game number 2 is going to be on Golden Aura. Will be the case. Here we go. Yeah, it looks like they're just going to be rectifying their races, of course, as they load into the game, and it is in fact confirmed Golden Aura as game number 2. Again, I'm hoping we can sink our teeth into this and have a more longer macro setup, but it's going to be up to our players here. As you can hear the beats, we are loading on in. And I'm curious if now we have Quanta rolling that Brood War Terran race instead. I believe it is going to be his choice, whether he wants to play SC2 Terran or Brood War instead. Oh, and there it is. We have our answer. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our South Korean Terran player, the red... Oh, they changed colors. God damn it. Hold on. God damn it. There we go. We have the red Brood War Terran player. It is Quanta. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the blue Zerg, representing Team Hyper 1. It is 3-point. Getting into game number 2 here, and now 3-point forced to play the SC2 Zerg. I'm pretty sure 3-point prefers Brood War Zerg. We have seen that before. We've seen that in the grand finals as well against Hon Mono. Meanwhile, a shout out to Lambo in the chat. God, Bobby, thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session, or a great stream nonetheless. Hope you had a good time. And welcome, everyone. Welcome to the StarCraft Evolution League number 2. This is becoming a more regular event. Every 2 weeks we've been hosting this tournament. If you're curious what this is not exactly SE2. It's slightly different. CC first, by the way. CC first by Quanta. And this time, 3-point has not gone for a faster gas build. But settling into this is a mod made in StarCraft. It's been recently kind of making the rounds on other platforms. We saw a big event in Korea, of course, a big online event on the Naver platform. This is a mod where the Brood War races have been brought in to kind of face off against the SE2 races. Let's go. In this case, we have SE2 Zerg against Brood War Terran. They do, of course, in a way, take turns as well. The way that this format works is that each map, one player gets to pick whether they want to play SC2 or Brood War, and then the other player picks in the second map, and thereafter. They alternate back and forth. Do alternate. Meanwhile, behind this, Quanta throwing down additional racks is behind this, getting up to a 4-rack setup. We've seen this before, working towards an initial Marine rush. Oh boy. Now behind this, we're going to be throwing down the Academy, bearing in mind as well, for those that are maybe unfamiliar with the Brood War Terran race, no add-ons. No add-ons, you do need an Academy for a stim. Until then, these Marines are going to be vanilla Marines, and Quanta will soon move out once he builds up. There's the Academy on the way, again, for those upgrades. And back at home, 3 Point is still a little bit in the dark, droning up, taking his third base. SCV will confirm the third is being taken. Quanta is aware. As for the time being, 3 Point is just droning up. He's got an Overlord parked outside of the natural. He's aware of at least some of these Raxes, but doesn't have the complete picture. 3 Point is still somewhat in the dark as to what's going on. As Marines are building up and banking up in the main, they're nicely spread out to deny any kind of Overlord scout to keep 3 Point in the dark. And there is that stim in production. Here we go. Oh, we didn't hear the scream this time. Smooch. Stim is on the way. There's the 5th Rax as well. It's going to be a 5 Rax. Now, when we saw this build against Snogstar earlier, Quanta did actually hit before Stim, well before, but this time we're building up. We have, of course, our comm station on the way. Comsat station even. Behind this 3 Point going for a safety baneliness. I do appreciate this. 3 Point has very limited information, so playing it safe, not taking any risks, taking any chances, we'll have banelings ready for the initial defense. Meanwhile, it looks like Quanta's still building up. It looks like he actually won't move out until his upgrades kick in. Stim is done. Medevacs, sorry, God, I keep saying that. Medics are on the way. The SC2 brain in me, Pat. It's, so far today, I keep calling medics medevacs, and I keep saying, at least in previous casts, I keep saying it War Prison speed instead of shuttle speed. That's it. They are quite different. It's fine, it's fine. Overlord gets shut down. Quanta does push. And at least 3 Point does confirm this. We're trying to get a full scout. Alas, the link does get in! Yeah, 3 Point, he slips into the main base. He will get eyes on everything. The Raxes, the add-ons, or lack of add-ons, I should say. The tech. 3 Point is aware. Back at home, Spine Crawlers are on the way. Spine Crawlers are in production. Banelings are on the way as well. Bearing in mind that this is off of Hatch Tech. No lair, no baneling speed. Just Lings, slow Banes, and Queens. Queens are amassing for 3 Point. Quanta pushing forward, still yet to stim. There we go, first stim is used. Going for the Queens. Flush Transfuse will keep them up. 3 Point so far, he's holding on, he's buying time. Building up more Ling Bane. Likewise, Spine Crawler buying some time as well. And it looks like we need to go for the surround. Banelings, they crash on forward, they shut down the Marines. And 3 Point, yeah, he will clean this up. Again, no Marines left, only medics. I said it right that time. My brain desperately wanted to say medevacs. God damn. But the push is shut down, and Quanta back at home and now throws down a 3rd CC. A very late expansion for Quanta. 3 Point behind this, happily mining. Now working on his lair. Roach Warren's on the way, double Evo chamber. Soon to be a 4th base as well. 3 Point can't break Quanta, but doesn't need to. 3 Point has map control and can be quite greedy behind this. Joining heavily and taking advantage of that map control. The Roach Warren is an interesting choice here as well for 3 Point. Looking to go Lingbane, Roach Ravager, a very kind of safe composition. Yeah, Quanta is going to be stuck at home for quite some time. Will eventually break out. Until then, 3 Point working on those range upgrades, not melee. Interestingly, as well, 3 Point does skip Baneling speed, or at least does delay it. Looking to more heavily invest into Roach Ravager instead. I assumed it was going to be Roach Raveling Bane, but it may just be Roach Ravager. As Roaches are amassing. 3 Point trying to get a read on where the 3rd base is. Being thrown down towards the left-hand side. Currently, as far as 3 Point knows, this could be just a follow-up 2-base all-in. 3 Point is still trying to piece it all together. As Roaches are amassing back at home. That's a lot of Roaches on the way. 3 Point joining up to 74. A very, very nice worker count here for 3 Point. As Quanta is just now expanding. And may opt to just turtle up back at home. He's going for drop play, but for the most part, it's still building up. Science vessels on the way. Against Ling Bane, they can be quite impactful, especially with Radiate. Oh, sorry, Irradiate even. Overseer will scout, will confirm the bio. Likewise, the drop gets dropped. Up. Let's go. A little bit awkward, but Banelings are involved as well. Quanta has to pick up, has to get the hell out of there. At least is aware of the the Ling drop. Is aware, trying to intercept. Oh, he's so close. Dust him in. He gets one, he gets two. Both overlords do go down. Drop lords even, but here comes the Roach Ravager. And there are no tanks. Do get a surround though. Marines coming in for a flank. Ooh. Bit of friendly fire with the Vials. But without tanks behind this, without a backbone to the Bio army, not so sure if Quanta can trade well here. With the help of the Medivacs, they are holding their own. At the same time, though, Roaches are getting into the mineral lines. SCVs are going down. And we're down to 5 Marines. At the same time, Roach Ravager hits towards left-hand side in the third and in the natural. 14 SCVs go down and counting. Yeah, just too much economic damage. And 3-point. He can just keep going from here. Bars of choke points, getting to the expansion. Medivacs to survive, but only the Medivacs. They can't support. Sorry, medics. You know what I mean. As the army does push forward. Yeah, and the medics, they just cannot hold their own. They're stuck on the wrong side of the wall. GG gets called as 3-point does overwhelm, and 3 points will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. 3-point. He was able to get a read of what Quanta was doing. Initially shut down the initial 5 racks. As a reminder, it was a very aggressive build from Quanta, going for a 5 rack stim timing. Alas, plenty of queens, spine claws already, safety baneliness as well. If 3-point was a little bit greedier, if he was going for, say, a faster lair, faster evo chambers, if he had delayed his baneling nest, then maybe a different story. Then maybe Quanta is able to catch 3-point with his pants down and bring him down then and there. But last 3-point was playing safe, and with that, GG. GG, well played. 3-point will take the series. And now we have to figure out where we're headed next. Oh. Here we go. As we might have another lobby ready for us. Oh, okay, we're jumping in mid-series. We are going to be jumping in mid-series here. And we are jumping into another quarterfinals match. We're going to be jumping into Hon Mono versus Shin. Oh, it is a rematch. But yes, 3-point has advanced on to the semifinals. He's already in the semis. Waiting for his next opponent. He's going to be waiting for quite some time. So we found another series instead. Let's go. And this is a rematch from the previous SEL. And here we go, spawning in the top. I'll fix up the names. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkione, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran. Living in the land of Japan, representing Team Hyper 1, down in the series, it is Hon Mono. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Brood War Zerg, representing Team Gaiman Gladiators, it is Shin. Okay, now if you were here last edition, 2 weeks ago, then you would know that this is a rematch and that Shin had signed up and was participating in the initial SEL, and he was primed to make a deep run. He was the favorite player in the entire tournament, and Shin got knocked out early on. Shin got knocked out by Hon Mono 2 weeks ago in the first edition of the StarCraft Evolution League, and now they face off once again. Now, bearing in mind, in their first face-off, they did go all the way to the ace match, I believe. I'd have to double check that. The bracket is on Wikipedia, the votes are on the channel. But Hon Mono did come out on top. He cheesed the hell out of Shin. He was able to go for an all-in and catch him with his pants down. multiple times. We'll see if Shin has learned his lesson. For the time being, is likewise getting into his own opener. Faster gas geyser for Shin. Going for a faster gas. Getting into faster link speed. And we'll see how Homeowner will approach this. We'll see if Shin can get his revenge. Homeowner going for a Rax Expand CC on the high ground. Very safe setup here by Honmono. We saw how difficult it can be to hold on to low ground here in the Quanta series against 3 points. And Honmono, he avoids that by going for the CC on the high ground instead. Also, as we're jumping in, if you're in the chat, Gamba man. Predictions should now be open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Again, we're jumping in mid-series, so because of that, you know, Shin is favorite, right? He's the favorite player. He's already ahead. But Homeowner could bring it back. I mean, hey, he beat him before. Could do it again. Link speed is on the way. More importantly, it isn't just link speed. We're staying in gas. We're staying in gas here for Shin. Lings, they shut down the Scouting Reaper. And I imagine this is going to be for a fast Hydra 10. Bearing in mind, Hydras are hatch tech in Brood War. They're not lair tech. So I'm just trying to get a read on what the gas is going to be spent on here. Either a Hydra Den or a fast lair. Oh, there it is. We have the answer. It's a fast lair. So Shin rushing into the fast lair. Now this could be for 2-base Muta, right? Mutas could be next on the horizon here for Shin. So it could be Ling Muta. Meanwhile, Ling's, they get in! No, the wall is wide open, and what is there to defend? There's one Marine, and boys, and a dream. The boys, after he pulled, the Marine is getting so low, and the Marine is going to be targeted down. Marine falls to SCVs as well, but the boys will clean this up, thankfully. 3 SCVs fall, and Shin gets a full scout of the main and a lot of less mining time. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, rough start for Honmono behind this going into his 3rd CC, but again, he has been delayed. Has been delayed. Lair about to finish up. And what is the tech of choice going to be for Shin? He's still only on 2 gases. And I feel like Spire tech is going to be more expensive than that, but there it is. It's a Spire. Okay. It is going to be 2-base Muta here for Shin. Spire's in production. Likewise, Sunken Colonies on the way. To help defend, help survive. For those that are curious, winding it back a little bit here, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that only watch StarCraft. No queens. I should say, the Queen is a very different unit in Brood War. It's a very different unit, so because of that, you have no queens to defend early on, so static defense is a lot more commonplace here, and a lot more necessary as a result. So Sunken Colony has been thrown down. Spire's on the way. So far, Shin only droning. And honestly, Shin is quite vulnerable to Hellion Harass, but Homeowner doesn't know. Because of the earlier aggression, Homeowner has been stuck at home. And he's playing very safe. He's being very safe, holding his cards close to the chest. Homeowner hasn't moved out in quite some time. And because of that, Shin is getting away with the Spire. This is his army. Shin has 3 Lings. 3 Lings and a Spinecrawler, or a Sunken Colony. And the Spire will now finish, and Mutas are going to be on the way. There we go, 8 Mutas in production. Now, for those that are curious, the Muta is a very different units as opposed to the the SC2 Muta. This Muta has 1 extra range. 1 extra range on the Brood War Muta, so there's a lot more micro potential here for Shin. Oh, the scan! Let's go! The scan does reveal the Spire. Scan reveals the Hydrogen as well. This shows that, yes, there are going to be Mutas to harass, but we're going to be hard switching, most likely, into Lurker tech. Into Hydra Lurker. But Homeowner is aware, back at home, spreading out his Marines. And Marines on the right, we have, I'm sure eBay's halfway done. No turrets yet. No eBay, no turrets for Honmono, only Marine. Meanwhile, Lurker upgrade is being researched. We spoke earlier, should be Mutas into Hydra Lurker. Mutas have arrived. And they do pick up 3 Marines for a Muta. 1 Muta goes down. Oh. Another Muta almost does fall. But last Shin does barely stay out of range. Takes down even more Marines, goes for the middle line. No turrets! No turrets in the main base. SCVs are going down. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, and Homeowner, he barely cannot keep up. He takes down 1 more Muta. That's 3 Mutas so far. But the turret still has not finished. 11 SCVs. And remember, these Mutas, they're getting so much done already. And behind this, Hydras. Hydras are on the way. Lurkers are on the way. Shin is in control, and he gets 15 SCV kills. Not like this. He's not done. he's still not done, but 21 SCVs, and so far the 2 base meter has paid off. I mean, Homeowner did scout it eventually, but it was a late scout. Bear that in mind, it was a late scout. Because of that, the eBay was only halfway done. That is why there were no turrets, because there was no eBay, because Homeowner didn't know for so long. And with that, here comes the next phase, the follow-up step here. We're done with the mutas. It's now the era of the Lunker. Let's go. The Lunkers, they have arrived. Muta zipping back in. Shin getting ready to collapse on the third. And Homeowner is still stuck on a handful of Marines, a handful of Medevacs, some Hellions as well. And here comes Shin right into the natural. The wall is wide open. Hellions are zoned away. And the wall is going to be broken. Just focusing down the depots. Lings have to be careful here. The choke point is brutal. Yeah, big Hellion volleys going off. A lot of Lings are getting roasted. Hydras will help supports. But again, this is not the worst trade for Mono, but at the same time, Lurkers, they're pushing in. And that's a lot of Lurkers. Oh, the SCVs, they just evaporate. The Marines as well. They can't fight within Lurker range. GG gets called, and Shin will take the series 2-0. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played, congratulations. Shin will take the series, and he gets his revenge from last week. Congratulations. Or from last edition. Congratulations, Shin will advance on into the semifinals. Oh boy. We'll be advancing on, and now we have to try to figure out where we are, and where we are headed. One moment, please. Un momento. Shin will take the series. Congratulations. And we have 2 semifinalists ready, but they don't have their opponents yet. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back of yourselves. As we have... Oh, we have to zoom out a little bit here. Figure out where we are. You can see there, Shin, he is in the lower semifinals, waiting for the winner of Skilless and Rebellion. Meanwhile, we have 3 Point waiting for the winner of Mixu and his opponent, and Mangrusel. Mangrusel? Oh boy. And we do need a moment to set things up. We are jumping into another quarterfinals match. I'll also try to move the challenge page as well. There we go. Okay. So you can see the upper half of the bracket. 3 Point has been waiting for quite some time, and 3 Point is waiting for either Mixu or Mangrusel in the upper semis, and that is where our attention does lie. We just switched on over to the America server. Shin is still waiting for his opponent, so you know, Shin still has some downtime. He's waiting for Skilless and Rebellion to wrap up. They are currently mid-series. I'm hoping that they're being covered by someone. I know that Indy's casting in Polish. I know that Enki's casting in Spanish. And Top is casting in Korean. Top, aka Kiwian. Casting in Korean. And I do need a moment to get this series ready. On Berserker. Beautiful. And this is going to be a ZVT. We have yet to cast a Protoss today. Still no Protoss. I mean, Rebellion and Skilless, they're both Protoss players. There is a Protoss confirmed for the semis. Hopefully we can cast one Protoss player tonight. That'd be nice. Be a nice some nice variety. As we are getting ready for our next series, vetoes are done, and we're loading into game 1. So I'm just catching up with the chat. Just catching. Homeowner cheese the hell out of me too. It makes the Reaper and kills me. So cheesy. Cap. But here we go. We're jumping in and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. Oh, in the bottom left-hand corner of Polypoid, we have the Finnish Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Berserker Esports. It is Mixu. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Red Terran player, the Brutal Terran. It is Mang Russell. Call him Mang. Here we go. As we are settling in, if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. Get your gamba going. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Will it be our Zerg player or our Terran instead, as we have loaded into a 4-player map with 4 different spawn locations. Mixu sends his first overlord towards the right-hand side, second overlord towards the left. He is looking and scouting for where his opponent could be. So Mixu is looking for the spawn location of Mang, and we'll find him with the second overlord. Bear that in mind. Meanwhile, Mang back at home going for his own Rax Expand. We have seen very often on these larger maps, on these multiple spawn location maps, CC first, but Mang is going for a safer Rax Expand instead. Just to be safe, just to be secure. You can be greedy and kind of gamble and hope that your opponent takes longer to scout you and find you and is going for a less aggressive start. So we are settling in. And interesting, it's going to be a Rax into Factory here. We've seen multiple Rax openers when it comes to Brood War Terran and TBZ, but for one of the first times, Rax into Factory instead. Okay. With this, we can go into Vultures, of course. Vultures, they're faster, they gain map control, and we could even see our Red Terran player here play Mech instead. Oh boy. We shall see. I'm not too familiar with Mang Russell. Not too familiar with them. Oh, okay, going for a 1-1-1 instead. Not a second factory. The starport is hidden here behind, further back behind the main. And this could be to rush into Wraiths, or maybe Science Vessels. I'm assuming Wraith play. We'll see. As the SCV Scout does confirm the location of Mixu, Mang Russell is aware. Overlord will confirm the CC. So both players are aware of their spawn locations. And show us what you got. Okay, science facility on the way. I believe you need the science facility to make science vessels. I believe that is the prerequisite. Oh, never mind. Okay, Wraith production has begun. We have our first Wraith on the way. I'm unfamiliar with the kind of tech path or the tech tree, but do you need the science facilities to research Cloak for the Wraiths? I don't think so, right? You get like the add-on. Am I crazy? You get the add-on on the starport. But yeah, I'm curious kind of where this leads us. Speaking of, there it is. Okay. The control, I was trying to think of what it was called. Control tower is on the way. Not the tech lab, but it's kind of the tech lab. You know, the Wraith has found the Overlord, we'll shut it down. And I believe we're going to be rushing into, never mind, Spider Mines on the way for additional Vulture production. But I believe this is to rush into Science Vessels. Could be mistaken though. Wraith is going to be moving out. Back at home, Mixu going into Roach production. Roach Warren has been thrown down. And the Wraith will threaten the natural. Oh my god, rushing into BC! Okay, okay. Again, I was not fully aware of the tech path here, or the tech tree that was required to rush into BCs, but now we have a better idea. Who needs a fusion core when you have a science facility? Let's go. BC is on the way. So we've only been casting this for like a month. We've only casted a couple of editions of this tournament. I have not seen a BC rush before, and yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited. BC's on the way. More vultures amassing. And for the time being, Mang Russell is just keeping an eye on Mixu. Yeah, picking up some stray drones whenever he can. So Mixu is settling into his economy. 2-base setup here. More factories on the way. Okay, so it's going to be BC into mech. I mean, Spider-Mines did kind of tip us off a little bit there. It's going to be a mech style from Mang Russell. But Mixu, he's going for Dropper-Lord play. Overlord speed is on the way. Dropper-Lords as well. And Mixu is going for a massive roach drop, a Doom drop into the main. Setting up for the Doom drop. Dropper-Lord's being sent out. BC coming in. Behind this tank production, siege mode being researched. The BC is revealed. So the Dropper-Lords. Oh, the micro! Let's go! It's dodging shots! He's crazy! Mixu, calm down! Oh my god, he dodges the BC shots! Let's go! The BC is denied. And Mixu is pushing in with his Roach Ravager. Well, the tech lab is exposed, and we can deny siege mode. And siege mode is so close to going down. And it will not finish. 5 seconds away. Doesn't complete. Meanwhile, Dropper-Lords, they come into support. Queens are on the way. On the miles, they take down the Wraith. The Wraith falls. We have anti-air with the Queens as well. Oh, the BC shots are brutal though. Clutch Transfuse barely keeps them going. Yeah, boys are being pulled, but Lings, they flood across the map. Roach Raptor as well. And even if the BC survives, everything else will fall. As so many SCVs are going down. Yeah, the BC will clean up everything on the ground eventually, but it's going to be 39 SCV kills. And GG gets called. It's critical damage, and Mixu will take game number 1. Ooh. GG. The hell did we just watch? GG, well played. Mang Russell attempting to settle into his mech. Again, he just barely wasn't able to get there. He didn't really have many spider mines set up, even though he was able to restore spider mines. And of course, siege mode was denied. Without those tanks, there was no defense available there for Mang Russell. Likewise, his main base was compromised, as Mixu was so quick and so fast to settle into his own all-in, essentially. Mixu, he was doing that off of, was it 48 drones? Like 48 to 50 workers, like no real economy behind it. I mean, enough to sustain the all-in, yes, but Mixu himself wasn't really thinking further ahead, was just going for the kill, and did break through. GG. Ooh. GG, well played. With that, Mixu takes the lead, and Mixu is 1 game away from making it, and facing off against 3-Point in the semifinals. Now, bear something in mind. Mixu, he plays Zerg in SE2, he does not play Zerg in Brood War. It is now Mixu's turn to play a Brood War race, and he's playing Terran. Does play Terran instead. Bear that in mind. As a reminder, once you pick a race, you're kind of stuck with it, but you can pick different races depending on whether you're playing Brood War or SE2. So Mixu, he has locked in, whenever he has to play an SE2 race, it's Zerg. Whenever a Brood War race, it's Terran. So welcome everyone to a TVT. As spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Finnish Terran player. He was once a Zerg, but he has seen the light, I suppose, question mark. The blue Terran representing Berserker Esports. It is Mixu. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Terran player, the SC2 Terran. It is Mang Russell. We go. I'm going to be settling in. But shout out to Overmind in the chat. Thank you so much for clarifying. That's okay. Just the add-on for Wraith and Cloak, of course, and Science Facility is for Tier 3, which I imagine is for BCs and for Science Vessels, I would imagine. But now we do have our initial openers, our initial matchups. Again, it is going to be a quote-unquote mirror matchup. Now, I love mirror matchups in this mod. Again, to see the Brood War versus the SC2 counterpart up against each other in a mirror matchup. Personally, so far I've loved ZVZ. I haven't seen mirror matchup PvP in this mod yet, though. I don't think I've experienced that. But TVT is a little bit more normal in a way. You know, Bio Tank, I imagine, is on the horizon here. Now, Mang Russell did play mech earlier against Zerg. Could play mech again here against Mixu's Terran. Could embrace mech, we'll see. As for now, Rax expand. From Mixu going for a single gas. Likewise, Mang Russell doing the same. Rax expand as well. But a very different dynamic. We have one player with Reaper Hellion in the early game, the other without. We have our initial Marine into Vultures, I'm sure, for Mixu. And we'll see who's the first to gain map control. And what kind of builds our players opt to go for as well. Here we go. Brood War Zergs are very weak versus SC2 races. I'll tell that to 3-Point back. I've been really enjoying watching 3-Point and some of the other Zerg players like kind of approach these matchups and approach Zerg. But for now, Reaper Scout dips in. Second factory is on the way, so Mixu is embracing mech. Is going for Mass Vulture, which should not really be a surprise in TVT. Is going initially for the Vultures, and we'll see what Mang Russell embraces here. Going for the initial add-on swap into Cyclone production. There it is. Cyclones are on the way. And Cyclones do have a lot of micro ability here. They're quite fast. They get their lock-ons off, of course. I do feel like in head-on engagement, Cyclones will come out on top. But that is without Spider Mines. Now the Vulture dips in. Gets eyes on the 1-1-1. Gets eyes on the reactor factory as well. Vulture does snipe the Mule. Oh! Almost the Reaper as well. We'll get it, but the Cyclones have arrived. They reveal themselves, and the Cyclones will shut down the initial Vulture. Will force Mixu back. And back at home, Mixu is already engaging, or is already getting into tank production. Interesting. Interesting that he hasn't prioritized something like Spider Mines as going into tanks initially to defend. Building on more Vultures. Initial Cyclones are moving out. But Mixu does have the high ground. Baits out the first lock-on. Tank has arrived. Nice flank here. Nice concave for Mixu. We'll lose a Vulture, but we'll get one of the Cyclones, and the repairs are good enough. The tank does hold. Oof, leading out a second Vulture. But Mixu will survive. He holds, he deflects. Meanwhile, ooh, we are not stopping with the Cyclone harass as two more Cyclones are on the way. Behind this, Mang Russell going into Banshees into Cloak as well. Cloak Banshees on the horizon for the Red Terran. Mixu back at home, somewhat unaware of what's going on, is making a safety Goliath. Goliath's on the way. Spider-Man being researched. Vulture harass here, not just harass, but to scout as well to get a read on what's going on. Let's see how much damage is dealt. Vultures, they get into the mineral line at the same time. Cyclone drop into the main. SCVs are going to go down. Boys are being pulled. So far, going blow for blow. Goliath going for the medevac. We'll force it to pick up to get out. And we actually get 4 and 4. Okay, barely 5. 5 SCVs for 4 across the map. But the Banshee is revealed. That's an important scout for Mixu. Is where the Banshees. Or Banshee. Oh, and Cloak was actually cancelled. Never mind. Cloak was cancelled, so we don't have to worry about those Cloak Banshees. Just the one. Meanwhile, Mang Russell does overextend, bleeding out a Cyclone. Cyclone falls. Mixu potentially overreacting, getting into mass Goliath production. I'm sure wary of the Banshees. Meanwhile, back at home, we do see Mang Russell not embracing mech, going into Bio. Tank production has begun, Stim is on the way, Marauders, and more Raxus. It's going to be Bio tank from our Red Terran, and mech from our Blue Terran. Glass looks so weird. Not gonna lie. Look a little bit odd. They don't quite, like, look like the Brood War Goliaths necessarily, but it's fine. They're fine the way they are. As Mang Russell does move out, Green Army is caught out though. The first tank will fall. Yeah, big pick off. 1 tank left. 1 tank remaining for Mixu. Can he dive on top of that tank? It looks like he barely can, but will bleed out his own. It's getting low. And trading out his tank. Goliath's full as well. I'm sure Mixu was expecting something a little bit more air-oriented from Mang Russell. And the Goliaths, they just couldn't really hold their own there. Now going back into What? I almost said Viking for a moment there. Vulture production. Getting back in. But nice lock-ons here from the Cyclones. Tanks trying to keep up with this, trying to be proactive. They force a pickup. Mines have been placed. Mixu does hold. He falls back. He is holding, bearing in mind that Mixu has a third base that's getting fully saturated. Mixu does have the slightly better economy. Mang Russell has the army. Going for a June drop on the right-hand side. Mixu trying to get a read on what's going on. Alas, out of position. And Mang Russell slipping into the main. The turrets are not done! The turrets, they need a little bit more time. And the drops do boost in. And Mixu having a hard time keeping up. The tank will sieged. And the production under fire. Army does rotate over. But Mang Russell, he sims on forward, going for the mineral line as well. 11 SCVs going down. That's an insane amount of damage. Goliath's trying to push forward into Marauders. They're going to have a hard time trading the Marauders. They reign supreme. They shut down the tank. They shut down the Goliaths. Tanks will siege. They will force back Mang. Oh my god, but those two Liberators, 30 SCV kills in total. Insane amount of damage. And Mixu cannot keep up. He cannot keep up. Not against this. See 31 workers. And the Liberators, they're still here. Liberation. Liberation is still upon us. Going for the tanks. The one tank in the main is going to go down. Likewise, tanks in the Mixu are falling as well. Mixu will survive, but Mang did do critical damage, killing so many SCVs. And he's not done. Nowhere near. More Marauders behind this. Mixu getting back into Goliath production. I'm sure to deny the drop play in some way. Now has a healthy Vulture count. Again, a lot of their DPS does come in the form of those mines. We need the Spider Mines. Marines, they don't care. They just stim in. They stim and they win, Papi. Yeah, they're breaking through the mines. Scan ahead of time. Not a single mine will go. Sorry, Spider Mine will go up. And Mixu does evacuate. They just cannot keep up. Not with this kind of army. Across the map, Vulture's going to be harassing. Doing whatever they can to try to force the army back home. But Mang, there's no reason to turn around. Stimming in, going for the kill, going for the main. GG gets called, and Mang Russell will take game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Ooh, GG. Let's go. GG, well played. Mang Russell will tie us up, and now we're headed for the ace match, and I'm curious what kind of dynamic we're going to be seeing here. Specifically, which races will our players be able to pick? Who's able to play SC2? Who's able to play Brood War? Who's it going to be? Here we go. As people referring to, I mean, what I love about because this mod is so new, and because I would say the meta is still developing, you know, more maps are being added, the patch of the game itself is being patched and being balanced as well over time. I do think that there's still a lot of room for like speculation as to like how to approach certain matchups, how to kind of create your army compositions and builds as well. Like, we're still kind of in the early days of kind of the meta forming, and there are definitely things that we've seen kind of be quite trendy already, and builds have kind of risen, other builds have fallen, but it's exciting. It's a lot of fun as well, just because this mode is so new. But we have confirmation Mixu is going for SC2 Zerg. Okay. Let's go. Especially because the Brood War version, or the version of Brood War here in this mod is not a carbon copy of like vanilla Brood War, like actual Brood War as well. Like certain stats and certain numbers have been adjusted in their own way to kind of balance the game. So it also kind of, you know, even if you're more familiar with how Brood War does approach things in the Brood War meta, in the Brood War esport, it's not necessarily as applicable here. Which is exciting. It's new, it's fresh. Do appreciate it. And here we go. We're getting into the ace match, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the Finnish Zerg player. Representing Berserker Esports, rolling the SE2 Zerg, it is Mixu. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the red Terran player. Ooh, tying up the series, forcing the ace match, it is Mang Russell. Hello, Mr. SCV. As it's going to be a bit of a shorter one, Mang Russell sending out 2 workers across the map, and we are setting up for a proxy Rax. If I say one, a double proxy Rax. Let's go. 2 SCVs are sent out, and Mixu for the time being is unaware. He's going hatch first. Ooh, it's going to be hatch gas full, standard opener out of Mixu. We have seen many players, many of our Zerg competitors, I'm referring to Snogstar and 3 Point so far, and even Shin opening up with gas first builds, even as the SE2 race against Terran, but Mixu is going for a more economic hatch gas pool instead, and we'll see how quickly Mixu can react and how quickly he can realize what exactly is going on. So Raxes are on the way. Now I imagine this is going to be actually, never mind. I'm curious how this all comes together. I was gonna say, I imagine this is gonna just be Marines and like a bunker rush, right? But gas is also being mined across the map. I'm curious, I guess that's just for the transition back at home. I imagine this is gonna be light aggression to force a cancel, to contain the Zerg player, and then to work on the next step. As there we go, we have a wall of bunkers being thrown down, and Mixu doesn't see! Mixu's in the dark, a drone does move down, and now the bunkers are revealed. Now Mixu knows, now he's aware. And immediately, gas is being taken, Roach Warren gets thrown down, Mixu is going to be busting out with roaches. But again, as a reminder, the goal of this rush here for Mang Russell is not to kill Mixu, I believe it is just to kill the natural, and then transition back at home. This gas is being prioritized. Hatcheries under fire, more Marines on the way. And there is that academy, actually. Okay, the academy's on the way. That should be for Stim. Hatchery's under fire. Roach Warren just now finishing up. Can Mixu actually save his natural, though? There are 4 roaches on the way. Spinecrawler is moving forward. At least has the high ground. I'm not so sure if he can. It's going to be close. Nah, no shot. No shot. Hatchery should fall. I imagine Mixu should be morphing in Ravagers with these roaches to bust out. He's fighting for it, though. Yeah, there we go. The Ravagers are now on the way, and the Hatchery will fall. And now it's all about containing. It's all about just containing Mixu on one base for as long as possible. Medics are in production as well. Deepers, they take some piles, but... Sorry, the bunkers take some piles, but they can be repaired. There we go, extra Rax is back at home. Mang has yet to expand. Oof. As the bunkers are taking a lot of damage. SCVs! Ooh, 2 SCVs go down. Massive connection. Yeah, big slip up here from the Terran. And with that, Mixu will break out. Not just break out, I'm sure, getting ready to counterattack. Got across the map. Marines, they stim in! Stim is up, but there's a spine crawl on the high ground, and Mang is denied. Red Terran has to pull away. Final bunker almost does fall. And again, the Terran cannot contest this ramp, not with the spine crawler. Especially not with the spine crawler, I should say. Do you have another stim though? Do you focus down one Ravager? Nice pickup. One Ravager falls, Roach as well. Oh, second Ravager. But again, well, it looks like the medics are running out of energy. Marines, they stim in once again, getting another Roach. Mixu is bleeding out a lot of units here. Down to 3 Ravagers. Back at home, Marine and medic production is continuing. Stimming on in. Ooh, Plow does connect. He wants the Ravager. He wants it. He's gonna get it. Gets another. Oh my god, these are too many losses. Yeah, 2 more Ravagers go down. Brutal losses here for Mixu. And 1 more Ravager so low. It's so close to going down. And again, even though Mixu is held in a way and has broken out of the bunker contain, has been having a hard time trading here against the Bio. It's been how many? 4 Ravagers lost, 2 Roaches as well. There's not that many Marines though. Mang's still building up. Still very tense, still 1 base all in. Oh my god, speaking of 1 base all in, Jesus. 2 more Raxes on the way, still no expansion. Simming in, catching another Ravager. The Biles! Oh my god. Biles do connect. They take down the medic. Mang forced back. And Mixu keeps pushing. He's rattling across the map. His goal here is to break the Terran. Scan reveals there is an expansion. But Mixu is still going for the counterattack. And Mang Russell doesn't really have much left to work with. Oh my god. Another Bile connects, takes down a medevac and a Marine. Oh, bit of friendly fire. So Mixu did target down his own Roach. These came for the production. And Mixu is breaking in. Pushing up a ramp though into a lot of Marines. Mixu overextending here, bleeding out a lot of Roaches. Ravagers are looking vulnerable. Another Ravager goes down. Models quite connect. Oh my god, the Biles! They get 2 Marines! But it still feels like Mixu is losing a little bit too much here as he's down to 1 Ravager. 1 Ravager remaining. Again, this is still so tense. It's still so close. As the Marines are coming in to reinforce. Oh, final Ravager does fall. And oh my god, the boys are being pulled! Speaking about all in, and Mang, one way or another, the game is about to win. The boys have arrived. And there's 0 Ravagers left. And the Terran player might just have too much. And Marines are coming from behind. There's 3 Ravagers left. Sorry, 0 Ravagers left. 6 Roaches. The Queens are coming in! I feel like with the help of the Queens, we should be okay. We have Transfuse! And Transfuse is insane. Does top off those Roaches. The boys are helping, but we can always pull the drones. The drones can be pulled. We pull back to the Spine Crawler as well. The Marines are gaining ground. That's still a lot of Roaches though. And yeah, Mixu, he will shut this down. GG gets called and Mixu will take the series at 2-1, advancing on to the semi-finals. The hell just happened? What did we just watch? GG, well played. GG, as Mixu does take it again. Mang unfortunately had no expansion back at home. He had no CC, so he had no longevity in that game. I do think there was maybe a moment that we could have seen like a command center and we could have seen like a longer game state and transition into the mid game. Mang was trading quite well, but alas, never really, at least he never found the room to throw down a command center, and it just pulled the boys, papi. Why not? GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Mixu, as he will survive, will take the series. And up next, we have our next matchup. It's going to be Mixu versus 3Point in a kind of ZVZ. Kind of. Now, I'm a little bit sad to hear that Mixu is not playing Brood War Zerg. What that means is that we won't see ZVZ, that we won't see that dynamic. We had a lot of fun casting that last week. Like Mixu versus 3Point was so fascinating to see a Zerg player with Ling Bane and another Zerg player without any Banelings possible at all. It was Ling into Hydra. It was Ling Hydra instead. So Ling Hydra versus Ling Bane, a very unique dynamic, rushing into Lurkers. The other player, of course, could go into Mutas, but likewise, the other player had Scourge. Like, it was just a really fascinating kind of dynamic that we unfortunately won't be seeing here just because Mixu is playing Brood War Terran instead of Zerg. Unfortunately. Regardless, GG. GG, well played. We are getting ready for that next series. Alright, getting ready. For our first semifinals. Just have to make sure we don't get left behind. Meanwhile, do we have any other updates on the bracket? ! B. in the chat if you guys want to have a look at back yourselves. Looks like we do. Ooh, okay, some big results coming in. We of course have 3-Point versus Mixu in the upper semifinals, and scrolling down a little bit further, we have. It's hard to say. Is it an upset? Is it not? We have results coming in. Skillus was knocked out by Rebellion. I think I would say that was an upset because, sure, one of these games, Skillus had to play Brood War Protoss, but another one he played SE2 Protoss. So I would say, yeah, that is a pretty big upset here. Rebellion takes down Skillus, and Rebellion moves on to face off against Shin in the lower semis. Here we go. Here we go. So we have Shin versus Rebellion, and we have Mixu versus 3-Point. And then we'll converge in those finals. Can I show this off a little bit better? Can I? There we go. Beautiful. Kind of. So we have our top 4. We have our top 4 players. Have our top 4 players, and between these 4, one of them will be our new champion this week. As a reminder, 3-Point is the reigning champion, and yeah, we'll see if he's able to reprise that role or if there is another contender out there. Either Mixu, Shin, or Rebellion could bring him down. We'll see. We'll wait and see. For the time being, though, we are going to be focusing on 3-Point versus Mixu. Apparently, Shin and Rebellion have already begun. They've already started the series. They are currently in Game 2. In Game 2. This also means we have a little bit of downtime as well. We have some downtime here to take a moment for our players to conduct their vetoes, and once they are done, we can jump into those semis. So I'm just catching up in the chat. Just catching up. Having an issue with StarCraft. When the game starts, I can't control my units. My mouse only opens up a small circle of pinging, as if I was an observer or something. You might have like an issue with your keyboard. Check your key bindings, but if like, I don't know, if like control, depending on your key bindings and your hotkeys, if like, I don't know, control is stuck or something, then it might just be stuck like pinging or something whenever you click. I don't know. Uncertain. Do SE1 SCVs have auto repair? Apparently they do. Man, Russell's gone full hon mono. You never go full hon mono. Never, papi, never. He's an animal. But for now, we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will have our next semifinals. See you guys in a couple of minutes. Until then, take this moment to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your marines, and hydrate your hydras. When we come back, we'll have our first semis. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Whew. Hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OST as we returned with our semifinals of the StarCraft Evolution League number 2. Welcome to this fresh best of 3. And we're jumping right on in. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Golden Wall, we have the Finnish, typically Zerg player, but here playing Brood War Terran, representing Berserker Esports. It is Mixu. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg representing Team Hyper 1. It is 3Point. Here we go. Now this is a blast from the past. And as we get into this, if you're in the chat, predictions open to get your gamba going. Place your bets on who you think will take the series and advance on to the grand finals. As a reminder, 3Point is the reigning champion, so he's going to be favored against all players ahead of him. But Mixu is looking to try to slip him up, and to try to take that crown away, to cause an upset. I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. Here we go. But again, it has been a long time since Golden Wall has been a part of the competitive tournament ladder map pool. It's been a very long time. It was back in, oh my god, what, 2019? No, 2020? Maybe? Around like 2020 era of StarCraft was Golden Wall. It's been a long time. Been quite a number of years here since it's been in the meta. One of the big features, of course, is that the entire lower half of the map is walled off by the Golden Wall. We have gold bases here in the center of the map, we have gold minerals here towards the center, and at the main base locations as well. This is a feature that in a way was adopted by Alkyone, one of the more modern maps in the map pool. Does have similar features to this, just not as extreme as you can gain access to this side of the wall straight from your main. Straight from the main base, you can mine through these patches and expand here towards the south instead, or expand towards the north and try and take the gold yourself. But now we are going to be settling in, going for our initial hatch gas pool, standard opener out of 3 points. Meanwhile, Mixu himself going for his own Rax expand into additional Raxes behind this. Interesting. So it's going to be bio here out of Mixu, not mech. Building up additional Marines here to defend early on in the early game, into an eventual academy, into Stim. But now Overlords are being fended off. For those that are curious, again, Mixu is typically a Zerg player, but when it comes to this dynamic, when it comes to Brood War versus SE2, Mixu prefers SE2, sorry, he prefers Brood War Terran over Brood War Zerg. Does prefer the Terran race. The academy is on the way. Up here at the night, there we go. I was looking for it. Very confused. The academy is done, rushing into Stim, of course. Stim is on the way. And Mix is just building up his bio army of Marines and medics. Meanwhile, back at home, we do have a 3Point happily droning, taking more bases, taking more expansions. So far, nothing too crazy yet. Is aware of the academy, of course. The Overlord does tell him everything he needs to know. With his academy, he's of course aware that there's going to be a Stim timing ahead of him, but until Stim is done, 3Point is free to drone. He's free to just drone up as freely as possible. Safety Baneling Nest on the way at the 3-minute 30 mark. So we'll have some slow Banelings to defend. As Mixu does go for the scan, we'll snipe the Overlord. Nice pick off. With that 3Point is going to be in the dark as to when and where the army does push. So we'll send out a scouting ling, and we'll get eyes on the move out. Okay, 3Point is aware. Ooh, he did just make 6 drones. Did just make 6 workers. Mixu pulls away, doesn't commit. Mixu is massing lings as we speak. He is a little bit vulnerable. Alas, Mixu doesn't move out. He pulls back home, throws down a 3rd CC, and Mixu is going for a later game. I do think there was potential for a move out. 3Point was not ready because he had just droned. You can see 3Point is panicking, he's making Banelings as quickly as possible, but he doesn't need them. Does not need them, as Mixu is staying back at home and expanding, setting up for a later game state. Sorting that at CC. Ling does rescout. 3Point is looking for the army, looking for the expansion, trying to figure out what exactly is going on. Behind this 3Point still building up. Ling does dip in, does scout the main army, and he spots the third CC. Is aware. Is aware of the third command center. So upon seeing this third base, 3 should be feeling quite free to drone. He is making some Ling Bane, that is true. He's securing himself, and I believe there is still no lair. Yeah, scan reveals no extra gases, no lair in the main, no lair period. There we go, lair is now on the way at the third base instead. Interesting that 3 is intentionally hiding the tech and hiding the lair. Oh, and going for a Roach Warren as well. Interesting. Very interesting. Going Ling Bane, Roach Ravager instead. Did see this previously out of 3 in a series against Quanta. The Lever Chamber going to be on the way for those range upgrades to get into the Roaches. So I believe 3 is going to be skipping Baneling's speed and prioritizing Roach Ravager. Instead, scan reveals gas is being taken. Is somewhat of a tell, but again, the tech is hidden here at the third base instead. So Mixu's in the dark. Behind this, getting to tank production. Siege mode is on the way. For those curious, you have to research the ability to siege initially. Otherwise, the tanks they're stuck in their more natural state. And Mixu does finally move out. We'll try and go for a split push. Clearing up some creep. At least attempting to, but there's just so much being thrown down. Hopefully another scan going to be available. Meanwhile, 3 goes for the dive. Oh no! The Banelings! They come in for the dive, and they will crash in. Nice spread out of Mixu. He will take the fight. Does bleed out a lot of Marines. Does push through. Roaches have been amassing behind this. 3 will force this back. But Mixu does not turn around. Siege mode has been researched. And Mixu pushing right down mid. No Ravagers. No Ravagers. The boys have been pulled. Oh my god. Mixu going for the kill. The boys have arrived. Overlord's going down. Were they intentional? I guess so. Oh my god. It's time for the Baneliness. Head towards the third base. He's going for the third. That's where all the upgrades are. 1-1 and the Roach Warren as well. And the army stims in. 1-1 is going to be denied. And 3 he gets caught with his pants down. Yeah, he was not ready for this. The Baneling connections earlier were okay, but he was not ready for a committed move like this. Not for this army. Tanks do get piled down, but the army just stims forward. It stims and it wins. The Roaches, the Ravagers, the everything does crumble. And Mixu, he's going to take the first game in the series. GG gets called. And Mixu takes game number 1. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. I was not quite expecting that much commitment from Mixu. The initial move out was looking quite threatening. 3 was in the middle of transitioning out of Ling Bane into Roach Ravager. This is also the downside of this kind of build from 3 We saw this against Quanta, and now we saw it against Mixu. Is that because 3 did invest initially quite heavily into Ling Bane, because he's trying to deviate and pivot away from Ling Bane into Roach Ravager, I mean, he is quite vulnerable there, right? He still had 1-1 on the way. He didn't have Roach speed, for example. He was caught mid-transition there, and yeah, Mixu able to take advantage of that very nicely. GG. GG, well played. Mixu does take a lead, and now we're jumping into game number 2. Jumping into that second game. And Mixu is now going to be playing Zerg as the SC2 race. Okay. Okay, here we go. We are getting into a mirror matchup. Kind of. So it's going to be Mixu playing SC2 Zerg against 3 playing Brood War Zerg. I'm ready. I'm ready, Pappy. I'm ready. Oh, Monsieur Warbuffle. Your king? You mean your brother? Your other self? What do you mean, Pappy? Yako's in bed, Pappy. He's in bed. He's getting some rest. But here we go. We're jumping into game number 2 on Oceanborn. And spawning In the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our Finnish Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Berserker Esports. It is Mixu. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, going for a 12 pool, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team Hyper 1. It is 3 points. The 12 pool has been thrown down. 3-point going to be initially the aggressor. Meanwhile, Mixu, I imagine, going hatch first. Oh boy. And we'll see if Mixu can survive the aggression of 3-point. As he's going to be building up. Oh. Interesting. I'm curious if 3-point is going to pull the boys with this. I think he might. Not going to lie. Drone being sent down. Okay, 3-point is expanding. Let's go. Hatchery has been thrown down. Lings are soon to be amassing. Meanwhile, Mixu, yep, going hatch. Gas pool. Standard opener out of Mixu. 3-point rushing into those Lings. Now, a standard 12 pool in like SC2 versus S in a normal ZVZ. Oh, no. Wait. Okay. I see you. A standard 12 pool is designed to get some drone kills, get some economic damage, and then transition behind it into 2-base Roach. I'm curious how 3-point does incorporate this play. I imagine going to be Ling Flood into Hydras if it goes any longer. There we go, gas now being taken. Lings are flooding across the map as we speak. We even have a drone as well to set up a Spore Rush, a Sunken Colony Rush, question mark. The drone has arrived. Mixu is aware. Ling's going for the expansion. Yep, there we go. Sun Colony now on the way. And the boys are being pulled. Can Mixu hold on? Can he survive this? Lings are getting so much damage done already. The hatchery going low so quick. Boys have arrived. Nice drone drilling, but drones are going down. Yeah, too many workers are falling. 6 drone kills already. That's insane damage. And the Sunken Colony is now done. And the 12 pool spine rush is getting out of hand, getting out of control, and 3-point, he's overwhelming. He's overwhelming the army, cleans everything up. GG gets called, and 3-point ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. Oh my god, that Sunken Colony finishes up so quick. so quickly. On top of that, those drones take so much extra damage as well from those Lings. Like they just melt so quick. Is insane. GG well played. A 3-point able to cheese the hell out of Mixu. We're going to the ace match. Going to game number 3. Whew. Here we go. And it looks like game 3 is going to be on Retro. Going to be getting into the ace match, and the question becomes, oh boy, okay, it is going to be in a way a rematch. It's going to be Mixu rolling SE2 Zerg once again, and 3-point rolling Brood War Zerg. Okay, we're getting into that ace match now. Bearing in mind, Retro. If you remember, this map is a 4-player map. 4-player map spawn, so going into something like a 12 pool is a lot riskier on a map like this, just because it takes longer to get a read and get a feel for where your opponent is, because you don't know where they're spawning in. So it can be risky to be aggressive here. We'll see if 3-point goes for the same build again, or something different. Here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Retro. We have the Finnish Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Berserker Esports. It is Mixu. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. He's doing it again! He's going for the 12 pool. We have the Red Zerg player, the Brutal Zerg from Team Hyper 1. It is 3 points. South Korean Zerg. Here we go. So it is a risky maneuver here by 3-point. He's sending out his first Overlord to scout horizontally to the top right spawn location. Second Overlord should be... Oh, actually, second Overlord is going to be delayed. Yeah, has a drone scout. Okay. So with a 12 pool, your second overlord is quite delayed compared to normal. So drone scout is required. 3-point will check and 3-point will confirm. And what is scary? It's close by ground. It is not cross spawn. It is not cross spawn. So close rush distance by ground. 3-point can hit that much harder, that much faster, as he confirms. But that is gas first. Gas first build by Mixu. Gas pull into hatchery. I was going to say safe. This is a very aggressive build, but not as all-in as his opponents. And because of the faster spawning pool, this means faster queens and faster lings. So Mixu will have a better setup this time to defend. As lings are already on the way. Again, Mixu's expansion was delayed in favor of these lings. Overlord's moving out. Mixu will spot. He will confirm.
Under direct assault.
Yeah, the lings are spotted. Mixu knows what's going on. He's aware of the 12 pool. Back at home, ling speed is on the way. Lings are in production. Queen as well. But can Mixu save the natural? He's going to try. There we go. Does pull the boys. Boys have been pulled this time with additional lings. And this time there is no spine crawler or no sunken colony. But Mixu just has to dance. Doesn't want to commit. He is down in lings. 3-point will win the head-on fight and does get one drone. Good pick off. One drone goes down. Ooh, a ling as well. Mixu bleeding out quite a bit, but the queen has arrived. And the queen is going to help defend. Spine crawler or sunken colony on the way. Mixu forced the fight, but the lings are overwhelming. Once again, they take down the drones. Yeah, too many losses. 6 drones going down. Sunken colony on the way. And this might just be too much already. As 3-point takes a worker lead. Oh, he wants the queen. He wants it. Queen under fire. Sunken colony taking some extra hits. Goes to the drones. Oh my god. And again, Mixu will survive. He will defend, but he's got 11 drones. He's down to 11 workers. Back at home, 3-point has the economic lead. He has the expansion as well. He's up to 3 hatcheries. Ling speed on the way. Mixu needs some counter damage. He needs to move out across the map and get some damage done. Does hit the natural, but lings are on the way. Going for the drones. Up! And can he get them? The workers are pulled away. 1 drone goes down. 2nd drone as well. Good pickoffs. A good start for Mixu. He gets 2 drones and, oh, he barely gets a 3rd. A 3rd drone falls. Ling speed just now finishing up for 3-point, and Mixu has to get the hell out of there. Does pull away. More lings in production. Mixu still down in workers, just barely. Going in for another worker snipe. At the same time, 3-point has arrived. He goes to the queen! The queen will barely get away. Clutch transfuse. Yeah, reinforcements have arrived, and Mixu should hold, but he loses another 6 drones! Oh my, 6 workers go down. Again, the drones are so fragile. Against these lings specifically. Yeah, 6 drone kills. The queen falls, and 3-point has done it at this point. Yeah, 3-point will overwhelm. GG gets called, and 3-point will take the series 2-1. GG. GG, well played. It was a good effort here. It was a good effort here by Mixu, but 3-point will claim the series. Will advance on to the grand finals. Congratulations, my condolences to Mixu. Did well for himself taking the first game, but in the ZVZ, this 12-pool sunken colony rush is brutal. Again, Mixu went for a more aggressive response. He went gas pool into hatchery instead of pool first. So Mixu was trying to, in a way, just try to get some counter damage done by rushing into ling speed, potentially bailings behind it, but wasn't quite able to get there. And again, those lings are brutal. The brutal lings, I should say, in ZVZ, like they just chew away at those drones so very quickly. It's insane how quickly those drones do fall. And yeah, last Mixu, he was kind of baited into a fight one too many times in both game 2 and game 3. And GG, well played. 3-point does snowball out of control. And with that, we have our first finalist. 3-point does advance on to the grand finals, and he will be facing off against the winner of Shin and Rebellion. We should all be heading over to the Korean server, as only Koreans remain. we go. Here we go. Only Koreans do remain here. As the lower semis is still on the way, it is still Rebellion versus Shin. Here we go. Is going to be Rebellion versus Shin. Do we have any updates? Oh, we do. Oh, we have an update. We do have an update here. Okay, Shin took down Rebellion 2-1, went all the way to the ace match, but Shin did take the series, and that means we have our grand finals. We have a ZVZ between Shin and 3 Point. Oh boy. And I'm sure 3 Point will be flexing that build once again, that 12 pool and sunken colony rush against Shin. We'll see if Shin can survive. We'll see if Shin is even aware of it. We'll see if he knows. Oh boy. See if he knows as vetoes are underway. And we're getting ready for those grand finals. Getting ready for those grand finals. Again, it's a bit of a shame that we missed out on Rebellion versus Shin. That also means that we didn't get to cast any Protoss today. Feels bad, man. I was hoping to catch some Skillus or Rebellion, but didn't quite get there in the end. Maybe we might have a cheeky replay cast at a later date, just to cover some of the Protoss gameplay. Would appreciate it. Would be looking forward to it. For now, though, we're going to be going on a short break. Vetoes have just begun, so it's going to take a couple of minutes here for the vetoes to get going, for the lobby to be made, and when we come back, we'll have those grand finals ready for you. Oh boy. See you guys in a couple of minutes. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the grand finals of the StarCraft Evolution League number 2. It has been quite an event so far, and we are loading into the best map in the map pool. You're not ready for what's to come. If you were here last time, then you know what's coming. And it's going to be a beautiful game. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Paradox, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Diamond Gladiators. It is Shin. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Hyper 1. It is 3 points. And if you're in the chat, the Gamba's open. Get your Gamba going here. Predictions are now open. Place your bets who you think will claim the series. Will 3 points win once again and be a back-to-back champion? Or will Shin come out as a new champion himself and claim his first SEL win? And I don't know if you noticed, there's something weird going on. Oh, what's is this post-youth? It's post-youth on crack, but in a very different way. We have an in-base natural, we have an in-base third. We have an island map. Welcome one and all. This is something that has not been featured in StarCraft 2 in many years, and it is in the SE Evo map pool. As we have islands, we have our main island with 3 bases on either side, and then we have a lone island here on the left, a fresh base. We have another island here towards the right hand side, another island here, another island here. We have 4 islands in the center, and we have a bit of a landmass in between connecting all these bases. Again, they're still cut off by these cliff faces, but there is drop potential and harassment potential as well. The last time we featured this map was in last edition's finals between Homemono and 3 Point. It was wild. Homemono went mass Viking. We had Viking drops all over the place. We had Nidus Worms. We have Dropper Lords. It was crazy. It was wild. It was nonsense. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But we have yet to see a ZVZ. And I feel like it has to be Muta versus Muta, right? It's gotta be. It's gotta be just rushing into a lair, 2-base Muta versus 2-base Muta. But not just Muta versus Muta. I imagine Muta from one player, and I imagine Scourge from the other. Bearing in mind, this is a Brood War Zerg, and Scourge is a big factor. The Bailing of the Sky is a factor in Muta versus Muta. And one player won't have them, which is crazy. Likewise, as we settle into this, because of that, Shin, who's playing SE2 Zerg, might actually end up going... At 3 Point is going SE2 Zerg, my apologies, all the way around. He might actually end up going into Corruptors instead. Okay, never mind. Roach Warren, +1 range. Wait, what's happening? Okay, we are not going Muta. It's gonna be Roaches from 3 Point, and Shin is going for the Spire. Like, that makes sense to me, right? It's like, so Shin is going for Muta, Shin is going for the Spire. This all makes sense in my mind. Meanwhile, 3 Point, 2-base all in. He's going for a Roach all in. Nidus Worm is on the way, +1 range as well. There is an Overlord across the map, and an Overlord on the right hand side as well. It's all or nothing for 3 Point before we can embrace this island map. And I would love to see some mid to late game on this map. No. It's not going to happen here. We are going for the 1-base, sorry, for the, I guess, 2-base all in instead. Overlords are set up. Shin is patrolling with his Lings. And can he deny the Overlords? Can he deny the Nidus Worms? Nidus has been thrown down. He doesn't see! No, he doesn't see! The drone is patrolling! And he will. He will come across the Nidus. The Lings have arrived as well. And can the Nidus be shut down? It's going to be close. It's going to be close to the Nidus. It looks like it will barely fall in time. Does finish up for a second. But so far, Shin holds. Shin, he shuts down the first Nidus Worm. Do we have more? Do we have more Nidus Worms on the way? Again, only 2 Overlords, and Shin is patrolling. Behind this, Muta, the Spire's done. The Spire is now done. Mutas are going to be on the way. And nothing shoots up. No Queens. No Queens, no Hydras, no nothing. Nothing that can shoot up. Backup Nidus on the way, but it's not going to finish. It's not going to finish. Now, again, I was... Who is it? Who is it? Oh, my God. Okay, some latency going on. Hopefully everything is okay. Regardless, Nidus Worm is going to be shut down. And this might just be the end of the game. I mean, there's nothing. There's no Spore. There's no Queen. There's no anti-air here for 3 points. Mutas have arrived. Oh, the Nidus does finish. It finishes for a moment. 1 Queen pops out. Just the one, but it's going to be targeted down as well. Yeah, the Queen will fall. Back up Nidus on the way, but it's going to be targeted down as well. Roaches are actually waddling into the mineral line. 3-point is pulling this off. The Nidus will finish. Ooh, for a moment. Spine crawlers are attempting to be on the way. Mutas, they will eventually clean this up, but the Roaches, they're quite tanky. The Roaches are slowly pushing forward. They're actually rushing past the spine crawlers. Yeah, GG gets called. The Muta cloud is too great. It's too much, and Shin takes game number 1. Whew. GG. I was really looking forward to Muta versus Muta. I was really looking forward to like Muta Scourge versus like Muta Corruptor or something crazy like that. Like I was looking forward to it. Alas, didn't quite come to pass. 3-point had other plans. Went for the all-in, went for the Nidus, did finish, but it was too little too late. Shin had more than enough to deal with it, and Shin takes a lead. Ooh, Shin does take a lead, and we'll see if we can get a back and forth going. Again, game 1 was very unorthodox because it's an island map. I wouldn't put too much stock in the outcome of game 1. It was just very weird, very unorthodox. Now we're getting into game number 2. I'm sure we'll see a more back and forth. We have yet to really see the full force of 3-point in these finals. But we are jumping into game 2. It's going to be on Golden Wall, I believe. Muta versus Muta is not. Yeah, I wanted it, Papi. I wanted the Muta v Muta. Smurge. We were deprived. We were denied. But now we're jumping into game number 2. Shout out to all the other language casters, of course. And again, if you want to help support the event, you want to help support the tournament, you can do so via Patreon, via the link in the chat, !SCEVO. And of course, you can help fund and support the people behind the mod. Here we go, we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Golden Wall, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Gaimin Gladiators, leading the series 1-0. It is Shin. And spawning in the top, well, in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Hyper 1. It is 3-point. This time, Shin is playing the SC2 Zerg, and 3-point is playing the Brood War Zerg. Now, what is really cool about this dynamic here is Shin has access to Ling Bane. Ling Bane in the early game is going to be available to Shin. 3-point has to open up more defensively, as he will not have Banelings for map control. He will have Lings and Spine Crawlers to defend. But the advantage that 3-point will have is Hydras. Hydra tech is hatch tech. Well, again, you don't need a lair for Hydras. Do not need a lair for Hydras when it comes to the Brutal race, so you can get into faster Hydras and faster Lurkers as well. For the time being, hatch first. Going to be hatch first from both Zerg players. So hatch gas pull out of Shin, hatch gas pull out of 3-point. So far we are mirroring each other. We just see 3-point going for the macro hatch, which is quite common. Again, the reason why you have a macro hatch here for the Brood War side is because you have no queens, which means you have no injects. So larva is, macro hatcheries are necessary to keep your larva production going, to sustain yourself on 2 bases, on 3 bases, on 4 bases. Macro hatches are a lot more commonplace here from the Brood War side. A lot more necessary. Spawning pool has been thrown down. This is a delayed spawning pool though. I'm a little bit concerned. This was a hatch gas hatch build from our Blue Zerg player, so very greedy play. It means that if Shin was aggressive with Lings early on, I'd be concerned for 3-point. I'd be very concerned. There's very little to defend. So the hatchery was thrown down quite early on, quite greedy. Speaking of, another backup macro hatch on the way. Shin will get eyes on the setup and should be aware that how can you afford this many hatcheries this early on? You have to be cutting corners. And that corner was the spawning pool. Behind this, we just go for the full wall. Okay, makes sense. We're going to be walling up here. There is a bit of a gap though, and oof. Yeah, because of that gap, we're going to try and plug it up. Yep, there we go. Do have a creep colony on the way. We're getting there. Meanwhile, the initial Lings have arrived, and there are 0 Lings to defend. Ling production has only just begun. Sunken Colony on the way. Lings, they bypass it, they head for the main. And they can find some economic damage. They're going for the drones. Okay, the workers are under fire. Oh, so far, no drone kills yet. So far, good drilling here by 3 Point. Doesn't lose anything yet. Takes down a Ling. Lings have arrived, and Shin will have to get out. Shin is going to be forced out. Meanwhile, across the map, gold base. Gold is on the way, and we spoke earlier that because of the dynamic of the ZVZ, because one player can go into Bailings and the other player cannot, we do see 3 Point is turtling on 2 bases and rushing into Hydras. Again, you do not need a lair for Hydras, or for the Hydra Den. So 3 Point is rushing into Hydras. Likewise, lair is now on the way, and what does require a lair is lurker tech. The lurker upgrade can begin with the completion of the lair, and it's very likely here that our blue Zerg player is rushing into lurkers. Meanwhile, across the map, Overlord's being hunted down. Roach Warren has been placed here for Shin. So again, Shin, he skips the Bailey Nest. He just goes straight into 2-base Roach, essentially, with the gold on top of that. Because Shin has map control, the gold base is going to be quite valuable to him and can help boost him in the mid-game. Meanwhile, Hydra production has begun. And Hydras are now on the way. There's that lurker upgrade, as we did mention, with the lair. So 3 Point is rushing into lurker tech. Meanwhile, Shin back at home saturates the gold and is getting into Roach production. So it's going to be Roach versus Hydra Lurker. I should say Roach Ravager versus Hydra Lurker. 3 Point is rallying out. Roaches have arrived. They do fend 3 Point off. Force him back. Roaches are still building up. Again, at least Shin is aware of the Hydras, of course. Lurkers will soon be available. 3 Point has yet to saturate his own gold, but will be soon morphing in those lurkers. And we do have that upgrade. There it is. There it is. 5 lurkers on the way. The lunkers, they're coming. Lurkers are in production. Flooding Lings behind this is going to be very committed here for 3 Point. And back at home, what do we have to defend? We have an Overseer on the way. That's going to be a scout in the main. No detection with the main army yet. No Ravagers either. That's a little bit concerning. And here we go. Now the goal for 3 Point is to surround. Is to surround the Roach army to lock it down within range of the Lurkers and then go to town. And without Ravagers, without any kind of foresight here, I'm concerned for Shin. As here we go, the Lurkers have revealed themselves. They're going for the surround. They try to look down the Roaches. They look down some of them. The Lunkers have arrived, and the Roaches, they're being shut down. Overseer does come in, though. When the Lings, they look down some of the Roaches, but the others are able to break out. Lurkers are being taunted down, but they barely cannot be. It's still so close. The Lurkers, they need support. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 Lurkers going down. There's 2 Lurkers left. 2 Lurkers remaining, and 2 Lurkers. It's not enough. It's barely not enough. Shin holds. Whew. Shin does hold on. Again, he was able to pull away. He was able to spread out his Roaches, able to minimize splash damage. And that was an expensive trade for 3 Point. It was a very expensive trade. We have Sunken Colonies now on the way. And 3 Point, he's switching into Spire Tech. Mutaplate. He's trying to rush into Mutas. Shin going for a counterattack. Pushing into Lurkers, never an easy thing to do. One of Lurkers is denied. Barely not. Lurker does morph in. Big spine shots going off. Wow, but there are too many Roaches. Too many Roaches, not enough Lurkers. And 2, 3 Lurkers go down. Spine Crawlers, the Sunken Colonies, they finish up just in time. And the colonies are done. And 3 Point is trying to barely hold on, but Shin is overwhelming. He's been mining off that gold base the entire time. He's rallying more Roaches across the map. Okay, the side defense is doing well at defending the gold at least. But it's only 3 Hydras. Only 3 Hydras remaining. And the Roaches, they come in from both angles. And they collapse on the side defense. Boys are being pulled away. The 3rd base has been broken. And 3 Point is going to be knocked down to 2 bases. The gold is forfeit. Mutas have arrived though, but it's gonna take so long. It takes so long to break down these roaches. They're so tanky. It's gonna be 9 mutas here from 3 points. Behind this, we have the one sunken colony. Changeling holding the line. Let's go. Shin has a changeling in position. Roaches, they are going to be forced back. So many of them are so low. Even have some Scourge. Let's go. As 3 point is going to force Shin back. Behind this, Shin building up more roaches. Hydrogen looking quite late here for Shin. As Shin tries to hold on. 3 point has that map control. Alright, Overlords are detected. I keep forgetting. True. The good old days when Overlords, when we didn't need Overseers. Crazy. OP. I was like waiting for the Overseer, but no, you don't even need it. How did the SC2 Overlords regress so much? You could be so much better as their Overlords. As behind this we can see Shin is trying to build up more Hydras, expanding towards the north, taking it back up third base. Shin is attempting to build up his lurker count once again, as he has cut muta production at 13. 13 mutas. They hit the 4th. They will catch some workers. 3 drones go down. Mutas are going to be forced back. And we're going to be seeing an interesting interaction here with Roach Hydra versus Hydra Lurker. Hydra Lurker Muta. As the Lurker Den is on the way, Shin is working towards that Lurker production. We could even see Lurker versus Lurker. That's crazy. Gib. As 3 point is attempting to stabilize. Hits the gold. Gets a drone. Diving into the main at the same time. Oh, Tunneling Claw roaches are moving out across the map. Yeah, as mutas, they get eyes on Lurker Den. Lurker Den is denied. Massive pickoff. At the same time, though, roaches are waddling in. But there is detection everywhere. There's Overlords. True. 3 point is aware. We'll try to keep up, but there are roaches in every single mineral line. Despite the detection, drones are going down. Oh, as yeah, we're gonna be able to at least clean up the roaches here at the natural in the main base. Some drones are going down. But yeah, that's something to bear in mind about this matchup here, is if you try to go for Tunneling Claw roaches, I mean, you do not need spores. Or over, like, there's just Overlords everywhere. They see everything. It's crazy. Lurker Den is being rebuilt. The Tunneling Claw roaches were cleaned up. They were a little bit lackluster. As it looks like we do have a bit of a pause. Hopefully everything is okay. Maybe a little bit of latency or some hotkey issues. But we can take a moment to take a look at the game state here, and we do have additional lurker production for 3 point. He's building up as many lurkers as he can. Oh, and it looks like the issue has since been resolved. Meanwhile, 3 point still has his mutas. They did race back home, the mutas and the Scourge. And Shin still needs a little bit more time, and there we go. The hive is done. Lurker upgrades are on the way. We're almost there. We're almost at Lunker versus Lunker. Queens are on the way. For 3 point, let's go. For those that are curious, Queens are quite different units on the Brood War side of things. They are kind of like, I guess, the Viper in SC2 in a way. They're like a cross between the Viper and the Infestor. Kinda. Where the Queen can ensnare. And can parasite as well. Yeah, the Queens have arrived. Ensnare is basically like fungal growth. They can fungal units, and they can also use kind of like the Oracle Revelation ability by using parasites. Meanwhile, the roaches are spotted because of the Overlord. Again, Tunneling Claw roaches, they struggle here against the Brood War Zerg. Just have vision everywhere. Ooh, meanwhile, we have a ring of spore crawlers. Oh my god, the stack defense is insane. Spores are set up everywhere. Shin just turtling up, just going Spore Lurker. And just spreading out his lurkers, completely walling up. Ay, ay, ay. More queens on the way for 3 points. Wouldn't mind seeing some Vipers out of Shin. No Viper tech yet. I mean, I say that, it's going to be difficult to make use of Vipers when there's Scourge in the sky. True. More tunneling pool Roaches shut down. Vipers are in production, but again, they have to be cared for. As there is a lot of anti-air for 3 points. As they find another expansion. 6 more queens on the way. Vipers versus Brood War Queens. True, true. Nidus into the main. 3. He doesn't see. No, it's out of vision. It is out of vision. Barely out of vision. That's a brutal position. That's a brutal spot. And the Nidus Worm does finish up. Lurkers have arrived. And 3 point. He's getting caught with his pants down. There is one lurker in the main, but just the one. Oof. As lurkers, they do end up burrowing. And the army tries to dive in. Going for the ensnare, but what does that really do to this army? It slows down the stationary lunkers. Yeah, the tech is under fire. Hive as well. Mutas can try to clean this up, though. Yeah, the Mutas can help. As they will target down the lurkers. Eventually, but here come Hydras to reinforce. Oof. And Mutas have to go toe-to-toe. Lings, they flood in into lurkers, though. And not the best trade. Nice and snare. But these are brutal trades, and Shin, he will take the fight. Spores are coming in! The spores, they morph in. Parabombs as well on the queens. GG gets called, and Shin will take game number 2. GG. Oh my, Shin, calm down. GG, well played. Again, that was a brutal spot behind or in the main base. There was that one position where alas there was no vision. Again, this map was in the map pool a long time ago, and I'm sure Shin is aware of that vulnerability and was able to get that Nidus Worm up and running. Again, just barely out of vision, barely out of sight. 3 point was not ready whatsoever, and he wasn't ready for that kind of fight either. Again, 3 point, he had a mass amount of queens, which can't really do much against Lurker, Hydra, and that kind of setup. Queens are a supportive unit, but there was nothing that they could really support. Mutas, they did their best, but last, GG. GG, well played. Shin will take it. And now we're making our way into Game 3. Potentially the final game of the series. I'm hoping it won't be a 3-0, but Shin needs one more win here to bring it home. Here we go. No upgrade yet. Yeah, I believe the upgrade was still on the way for Spawn Broodlings. There was the infestation pit that was set up there. But alas, did need a little bit more time. So as a result, the queens were kind of dead weight. They couldn't really do anything in that fight. And here we go. We are getting into game number 3. Getting into Oceanborn. I've never heard about or seen 3 point before. Papi, este Muppet in the chat. We cast 3 point all the time. He's a Korean Zerg player. He's more of an up-and-comer. If you're familiar with Hon Mono and Quanta and Rebellion and Lunacy and Stephen Curry, 3 point, he's, you know, kind of along those lines. Casted him many times over the years in ESL Asia, for example, or KSL. But here we go. We're jumping into our next game. We're jumping into game number 3 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Gaiman Gladiators, 1 game away from becoming this week's SEL champion. It is Shin. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Hyper 1. It is 3 point. But what I will say is, 3 point, he debuted back in 2020. So if you're maybe an older viewer of StarCraft that maybe missed out on like the COVID era of StarCraft, that's when 3 Point was kind of a rising star back in 2020, 2021. That's when he, alongside a lot of the other Korean up-and-comers, really kind of rose to fame and were really active. I'm referring to 3 Point, I'm referring to Honmono, Quanta, Percival, if you remember Percival, Jinyo, if you remember Jinyo, the Korean Terran player, alongside Stephen Curry and all the others. Unfortunately, over the years, many of those up-and-coming Koreans did fall by the wayside. Jinyo retired, Percival retired, Stephen Curry I thought retired as well, but recently came back. Lunacy stepped away, recently stepped back, and 3 Point, he's still here, still competing as well. Unlike some of the others, did stick around, and yeah, has been embracing SC Evo quite a lot as well. I mean, I believe he's a full-time student, so unable to dedicate all the time into StarCraft, but yeah, he's been quite active here in SC Evo, which has been really cool. Really cool to see. Yeah, I see Homo in the chat. Junior retired playing golf now. Yeah. I didn't know he was playing golf. That's nice to hear. But yeah, like Jinyo and Percival, they stepped away, unfortunately. But nice to hear about the golf. Behind this though, we are settling into our game state. Of course, Shin this time playing Brood War Zerg. Likewise, setting up his macro hatcheries. He's got 4 hatcheries back at home. Link speed on the way. Sunken Colony as well to defend, of course. We do have to take a more defensive game state here. Defensive setup. Meanwhile, 3 Point is making the Bailey Nest. That I'm interested by. So, because of the setup that Shin has, because he's getting into 2-base Hydra, essentially. I'm assuming that Shin is going 2-base Hydra. I'm a little bit surprised that we're not rushing into roaches. I mean, I guess Ling Bane can trade against Hydras. True. That can be tech structure or tech or composition we can stick with a little bit longer. 3 Point's goal might be to contain and to deny any kind of third base and to take an economic lead. Safety Bailings are on the way though, just in case. Getting an eye on the main. The layer is done. Spire is on the way. Okay, I assumed it was going to be 2-base Hydra, but no, it's going to be 2-base Muta instead. Let's go. Mutas are going to be on the way. Shin did invest into some Lings. We'll poke in, but there are plenty of Banelings here to defend. The Banelings are set up. Now the question becomes, is Shin also willing to take to the skies? Sorry, is 3 Point also willing to take to the skies? Can we finally see Muta versus... Oh, never mind. Roach Warren has been thrown down. +1 range is on the way. And for the time being, 3 Point is in the dark. I say that the Overlord does dive in. I just realized. No queens. The StarCraft 2 Zerg player can just park their Overlords wherever they want. That's crazy. So we just get a free scout and 3 Point, he spots the Spire. Like as a Zerg player, like the idea of just having free vision is crazy to me. But yeah, it makes sense because there are no queens. That's wild. Okay. So a 3 Point sees all. We do have the Queen's Nest on the way for Shin. A Mutas are in production. 3 Point, of course, fully aware. Can set up. I don't know, man. When I was a student, I dedicated all my time to StarCraft. True. Smudge. And here we go. The Mutas will shut down the Overlords. But I believe the Overlord did not get eyes on the Queen's Nest. Now, as a little bit of a criticism, I would like the Queen's Nest not to look like the Infestation Pit, but it's whatever. it's fine. We're making use of the tech structures. It's all good. Hive is now on the way for Shin, and 3 Point is getting into Hydras. There have to be some unused like building assets, right, from like co-op and stuff. I wonder. I'm curious. Yeah, I was very confused. It's all good. As mutas, they are going to be tipping in. It's going to be how many? It's going to be 11 mutas here for Shin. Rotating around. Catching them tumors. Does catch a couple of tumors. Behind this, Hive is being resourced. Lings are amassing as well. These Lings are about to be cracked. Things are moving out. And Lurker production is still not yet underway. Shin getting ready for a dive, but there are Banelings to defend. Oh, Shin going for the Greater Spire. Okay. Greater Spire's in production. Hydrogen as well. Ling baits out a Baneling. Speaking of, trying to bait out more Banelings. Nice control out of 3-point, does pull away in time. 3-point does pull away. Meanwhile, with this Greater Spire, we can start morphing in these mutas into Guardians. So kind of a crazy kind of tech switch here from Shin, but can work quite nicely. Overlords are going down. 4th base under fire is forced to be cancelled. More Lings on the way. And show us those Guardians. The Greater Spire is about to finish up. Lings, they catch the Queens! No, the Queens! Yeah, Queens are getting caught out. They get surrounded. Transfuse will buy some time, but the Lings will all fall. And at the same time, here they come. 10 Guardians. The Guardians are on the way. They are the Brood War Broodlords. Let's go. Ooh, Lings, they have some rough trades against the Banelings, but they caught all the Queens. That's what counts most. And here come the Guardians towards the natural. There are spores, but alas, the Guardians, they will be able to outrange and break through. And 3-point has no idea. He has no idea what's going on. He was unable to confirm. I mean, he did see the Queen's Nest, true. But alas, is caught off guard. Hydras are on the way. Gas is being shut down. Spores as well. And we have no answer. We're going for the all-in. We're going for a counterattack. It's all 3-point can do. He cannot fight the Guardians. He's going for a base trade. It is his only option. Back at home, we have some sunken colonies. We have Lings as well. Guardians, they break down the natural. And it's all or nothing for 3 points. Is pushing in. Catching out some of the tech. Is gaining ground. But this shit doesn't care. He's got places to be. We have Lings fighting into the main, Lings fighting into the third. Likewise, 3-point starter stepping into the main base as well. We'll catch a lot of tech. Take down a lot of tech. Getting into the main base mineral line. Denying Adrenal. But the Guardians are gaining more ground, and there's no mining. There's no economy. There's no mining here for 3-point. Not anymore. That's 15 Guardians. GG gets called. It's just too much, and Shin will take the series 3-0, becoming this week's SEL champion. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Shin here for winning his first StarCraft Evolution League. Again, Shin also participated last time in the first edition, and he was knocked out by Honmono. Honmono, he cheesed the hell out of Shin. He knocked him out of the tournament. Shin was knocked out like in the quarterfinals in an earlier round. But now Shin, this week, gets his revenge. This time he avenges, or he's able to get his revenge over Honmono and bring down 3-point as well. Congratulations. Congratulations to Shin. Now, Shin did not make it through this bracket unscathed. You know, he did drop some maps. Heading over to the bracket, it was Rebellion. Rebellion did take maps off of Shin. If you're unfamiliar, Rebellion is the Korean Protoss player. Used to go by Gyelzing back in the day. Rebellion took down Skillus 2-0, took a map off of Shin. Very impressive. The only player to actually make Shin bleed was Rebellion. And again, for him to bring down Skillus as well is quite impressive. So, special shout out to Rebellion. Unfortunately, we weren't able to cast those matches. Unfortunately, we weren't able to witness Rebellion and his streak there. But very impressive nonetheless. And I'll be sure to cast Rebellion next time. Like, in my mind, in my eyes, for Rebellion to have performed as well as he did against Shin and to defeat Skillus does warrant some casting at some point. So I'll try to jump on Rebellion next time and try to see how he can compare and how he can improve over the next 2 weeks. Regardless, GG, well played. And congratulations to Shin. Ooh, and again, if you're curious as to how this tournament, or the format of the tournament and how often it is, every 2 weeks. It is a bi-weekly, or I should say every fortnight. Every fortnight there is a SEL, there is a StarCraft Evolution League at this time slot. If at any moment we are unable to cover it, we will go over it via replays at a later time, at a later date. It is quite late here, it's 3 a.m. It's 3 a.m. in the morning. I am giga tired. It's 3 a.m. But yeah, so next time we should be able to cover it live in 2 weeks, and likewise we have our next broadcast in less than 24 hours. Here on the CranKy Ducklings, we're going to be going live with the Sparkling Tuna Cup. That is going to be in how many hours? Sparkling Tuna Cup is going to be in 15 hours time, so if you're curious, if you want to check out some StarCraft 2 gameplay, not SC Evo, but some StarCraft 2, it is our weekly open tournament in 15 hours time. It is open to all, and it does typically feature Koreans, Europeans, North Americans, as well as Southeast Asians, and I'm sure Shin will be showing up there as well. Shin, he was last week's runner-up. He came second to Bjorn, and we'll see if he can reprise his role in Sparkling Tuna Cup as well. Also, I might be thinking of Tenacious Turtle Tussle. We'll see. We'll get Shin involved. We'll get him involved. Regardless, GG, well played. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Hope you all had a great time. Hope you did well. Or are you using all the ones we can? Yeah. I understand. I understand. GG, well played. With that, thank you so much everyone for watching. Thank you so much everyone for the support. We do appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see you guys in 15 hours for our next cast for the Sparkling Tuna Cup. Otherwise, our next casts on this channel are going to be, so tomorrow is Sparkling Tuna Cup, and then the day after that is going to be the Tenacious Turtle Tussle, followed by the Wardy TV Monday, followed by the Ursasaurus Cup, followed by the Podcast on Thursday, and potentially even more events yet to be announced as well. There's plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft, plenty more to come. Oh boy, let's go. So we'll see you then. We'll see you tomorrow at some point, whether it's for one tournament or the other. See you then. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you want to help support this event, you can do so via the link in the chat. There is a Patreon for the StarCraft Evolution mod, ! SC Evo in the chat. You will get a link to the Patreon for the mod. Otherwise, if you wish, you can support us. You can support the CranKy Ducklings. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. We stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time, and VODs are available on YouTube immediately as well. So if you want to check out the VODs, you can do so via Twitch and YouTube. You can also support us by subscribing on Twitch, by becoming a member on YouTube, and by supporting our Patreon. You can see the Patreon goal just under 3 points name. You can see just under there. We do have our stretch goals for our tournaments. Again, our Patreon is set up to fund our events and grow our events. If you're interested, we got you covered there. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you guys next time. Until then, thank you for watching. And hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.